No, not yet. Not yet. Not yet. It's still football season, at least for one more day. Actually, it's Tampa Bay. It's football season constantly. That's just the way it works. Thank God. Welcome into a Super Bowl Monday edition of the JP Peterson Show. Nick Geddes from On3 Sports joining me here in the beautiful Jeeves Law Group studio in South Tampa after what was, on so many levels, one of the worst Super Bowls in Super Bowl history. Would you agree with that, my friend? Good morning to you.
Good morning. I probably would have to agree. I told you I had a Super Bowl, little get together last night. I don't know if I'd call it a party,
Right.
A little get together. The entire day, you got to clean the house, pressure wash the patio in the back, pressure wash the driveway coming up. Did all this stuff yesterday. Bought new plants out in front, new welcome mat, vacuumed the house, the whole nine, cleaned everything. And then, of course, we had to order wings.
Of course.
You got to make food and everything. And then when a game turns out like that, yes, we had a good time and everything, but it's like, I feel like I just wasted my day.
Yeah.
I just prepared what I thought was going to be this epic matchup, and then I got that.
What a fizzle.
The only thing is I got to go to bed a little earlier than I thought I would.
Yeah, not a lot of drama to the game, but there's lots of talking points. We're going to entertain you here for the next 2 hours. It may not go that far, but we'll see, because there are a lot of things that we need to talk about. And it's not just Super Bowl related. We got to talk about the Bolts as well, and we will talk about the Bolts. We got some. We'll hear from Jalen Hurts, Patrick Mahomes, and I think there was something that happened in the game that may get more attention as the week goes on. So we'll get to that. The Lightning absolutely could not have gone into the Four Nations break on a hotter streak in playing. Well, actually, they didn't play that great yesterday. Vasy just bailed their ass out time and time again. But Vasy is locked, and that's good. That's good news. So lots to get to. Of course, your comments are welcome. So bring them. I'm sure there are already some great comments. You guys are already in here. Fantastic. Thank you so much. So we'll get to all your comments. You can do that on YouTube. You can do that on Facebook as well at JP Peterson. And let's enjoy this 2 hours. All right. So my first take on all of this is, it was not a competitive game. It was not a competitive game. And why was it not a competitive game? The Eagles were tremendous defensively. They were incredibly prepared. What's interesting is, I think, about this blowout is, what did Saquon have? 60 yards, not much at halftime. Really was not a factor in the game.
25 carries for 57 yards.
Yeah. So Spags had him ready as far as that concerned. But they dared Jalen Hurts to throw the ball down the field and beat him, and he did. He did. So many incredible throws. The one to Devontae Smith, the deep ball, was just insane.
Phenomenal.
Another one to A.J. Brown. There were so many good throws. A couple of them that were the one early on that was nullified by a flag, a little hand fighting. Oh, we got it up on the face mask. Oh, we're going to throw that flag. But that was didn't even need to be a storyline in this, because it was too big to rig. Things are changing.
Yeah, and I thought we were heading down a bad sort of pathway, though. Remember the first drive where Jalen throws a beautiful deep ball to AJ Brown?
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And it's just hand fighting.
Yeah, I thought you were talking about some other one. Sorry.
Yeah, the hand got up on the face mask.
Yeah.
I mean, technically, is that offensive pass interference? Yeah, but that's never called.
Well, my problem was, it's the first drive of the game, and if you're calling something that ticky-tacky, then you're setting a tone.
Right.
And now we have to call everything that it looks like hand fighting. And then I think the next drive that the Eagles had too, Goddard went up for something, and McDuffie grazed his helmet or something. Tough play.
Was going up for a high ball, and they collided.
And they call unnecessary roughness there. So I thought we were going to go down that sort of pathway, but it never happened. Yeah,
that was good. The refs were not really an issue, because the game was so lopsided. They could not, again, it was too big to rig. But I kept thinking in this game as a Buccaneer reporter and covering this team, wow, 10-7 was the best. This Buccaneer team throttled that Eagles team, kicked their ass. 33-16 was the final. You remember this?
Oh, I remember.
Now, it was pre-bye week for them, so they're the narrative for them is, oh, we changed everything to bye week.
And I think they did. Kellen Moore realized he had the best offensive line in football and a quarterback who can just run like a dead gum
They only
tailback.
lost one game after that, the rest of the year.
Yeah, because they just bludgeon people with the run game, where they try to be more balanced, I think, early on in the season. And then, but that game, they didn't have Devontae Smith. They didn't have A.J. Brown. And the Bucs still held Barkley to 10 carries, 84 yards. I mean, that's an 8.4 yard average. You would say maybe you should have given Saquon the ball a little bit more. But the Bucs had the ball for a lot of that game. Baker was 30 of 47 for 347 yards and 2 touchdowns, 2 tutties. And they throttled them 33-16. And then that's the Super Bowl champion team. And everybody talking about their defense was so incredible. They're great on both sides of the ball, and they are. But the Bucs handled them in the trenches. Handled them.
Yep.
So I look at this Bucs team now, and I know we'll talk about the Super Bowl, but I look at this Bucs team and I go, 4th best offense? You handled them in the trenches like that? And you were 10-7 and lost first round at home?
Well,
and you're 2-6 in 1-score games? And you still have the same head coach that's going to manage this team next year?
But yeah.
I mean, I know nobody wants to talk about this, but I'm like, I'm not okay with that.
Well, you're gonna have to be okay with it. But you know what? Honestly, my takeaway was watching the Eagles play, at least on defense last night. Number one, this is incredible. They did not blitz once on any of Mahomes' 42 dropbacks.
How about that?
Not one blitz.
How about that?
And they still generated 16 pressures and sacked Mahomes 6 times, most times in his career that he's been sacked. But
that defense didn't do that to Baker Mayfield. They scored 33 points.
But when we talk about the Bucs defense, though, like we talk about, Winfield and we talk about Vita Vea and these guys are really good players, but they're also, they're really nice guys. And you almost look like you need more edge on
some
your
dogs.
And what's the thing with Philly? It feels like at any moment something could blow up, right?
Yeah.
Because there's so many just these big personalities that they put into a locker room, and it's like, y'all have at it.
And it did blow up last year.
And it did blow up, and it looked like it was going to blow up at some point this year. It never did. They seem to almost thrive in this sort of environment that they're in. I'm not saying the Bucs should go that route. I'm just saying that, you know what? I look on that Eagles defense and I see a Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, and as much as here in Tampa he bothers me, I want a player like that on my defense.
He's dirty.
I want a player like Darius Slay, a Jalen Carter, a Josh Sweat, who, by the way, is a free agent. Where you're watching Josh Sweat. Josh Sweat was the real People's Super Bowl MVP last night.
Go Noles.
Go Noles, exactly. But they had some true dogs, to say it, on that defense. Yeah. And, of course, they have 5 or 6 guys who can get to the quarterback whenever they want.
Yeah.
And that's the difference.
Speaking of dogs, look who's joined us this morning.
I see that.
What's up, Timmy? How are you?
Good morning, gentlemen. And I use the word good morning very loosely.
Cowboy fan in the house, just absolutely dying that the Eagles are the Super Bowl champions. You can't handle it, can you?
No, I can't. I tell you what. And I'm sure Bucs have their hated. I mean, you guys hate the Saints. I mean, I get it.
Yeah,
but that's a fairly new rival a fairly new division rival for you guys. The Eagles and the Cowboys have been rivals since the Cowboys came into the league in 1960.
Right.
I mean, I wasn't there, but it's been around forever. But I will tell you, look, anytime the Eagles are doing well or winning a game, and I have the displeasure of having to cover the Eagles for Athlon Sports, so that's one of the teams I have to cover.
Oh, wow.
And anytime, and I purposely don't schedule myself on their game days to cover them necessarily, but of course through the playoffs I've had to, and then obviously last night the Chiefs also one of the teams that I cover, so we had the double bang last night. But anytime the Eagles do well, it hurts. It's just like a gut punch, right?
Yeah.
But when they win the Super Bowl, dude,
grotesque.
it is like I've lost a child to the most horrific death you could possibly imagine.
Well, I will say this. Did they burn the entire town down last night? I haven't checked this morning.
I mean, they said the polls were grease, but
the polls were grease.
I don't know if I haven't heard of any incidents so far.
Okay, I saw him beating up some cops, but I guess that's light work for a Philly fan.
Typically,
I mean, that's why I ended up as you saw, Timmy. I ended up right before the game putting all my money on the Eagles and the over, which worked out really well.
See, but even
really well.
Timmy, as much as you said you were struggling because you're a Cowboys fan, like I feel like the Bucs, like at least in playoff history on the NFC side, the Eagles are our rival.
Yeah.
They are our rival.
Sure. Honestly,
when it comes to the NFC side.
Absolutely.
And nobody really wanted to, like, you know, root for the Chiefs to win again necessarily. So at least me watching last night, I had this internal battle of what do I do?
Yep.
I did too going into the game. We talked about this all week. It's just like a no win for Buccaneer fans. Right. But I got to the point where I'm like, you know what? I can't stand the Chiefs. It's the Kelsey, the Tay, the Mahomes.
I just found myself pulling for
all
Jalen Hurts.
Jalen Hurts.
Jalen Hurts was the reason I just pulled for Philly.
And Saquon. Yeah. I love Saquon. I love his story. They did a great piece on him before the game, how, you know, his roots in Pennsylvania, you know, his dad, his family. I mean, he's as salted, you know, a kid that was kind of a skinny running back that just built himself into this badass. I mean, his whole storyline is really the utmost Americana success story ever. You know, he worked his ass off. He's super talented, has made all the right decisions, is not a jerk. You know, he's just a really, really good All-American kid. And his success is something I can really wrap my arms around. Plus, he was on my fantasy team and won me $1,500. But just, I was rooting for Saquon. I was rooting for Jalen Hurts. You know, and Jalen Hurts' story is a great one as well. Benched in the national title game, had to leave and go to Oklahoma. And then even in last year was maligned because he and the coach did not get along. And comes back this year and puts together one of the best seasons ever. I think he's ridiculously underrated. He threw the ball tremendously well yesterday, and his running ability as a quarterback may be second only to Lamar, and he may be better than Lamar because he's more powerful, and the tush push is undefeated, unbelievable. So a lot of those storylines. By the way,
that's going to be illegal next year, right? They're not going to let him do that next year. There's no way.
I don't. Why?
Because it's stupid.
It's stupid. You're stupid. You know what? True. It's funny because everybody else tries to do it and they can't do it like the Eagles. So I say, you know what? Why are we going to penalize greatness?
Why are we going to outlaw greatness? It's extremely boring.
Well, it's not boring. It's great execution. It's mano y mano. I love it.
And look, all of those things that you just said, JP,
the Bucs have been the only one to stop it, really.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Washington stopped it once, didn't they, in the title game, I think, in the NFC
I think
Championship
they did,
game?
Yeah.
But all of those things you just said about Saquon Barkley and Jalen Hurts, and look, Jalen Hurts is a Texas kid, right?
Yeah,
like, we should have all of the love for Jalen Hurts here.
Absolutely.
And I love his story. Although he played at Alabama that nobody likes, I was kind of pulling for him at Alabama, right? At OU, not so much because I can't stand the Boomer Sooners. F all of y'all, by the way. And then he goes to Philly. So although great stories and although Saquon Barkley, an outstanding person, human being, all of that crap, I can never cheer for him ever again for the rest of his existence. And Jalen Hurts. Screw both of those guys because they're effing Eagles.
But as an NFL analyst, put your personal bias aside.
Damn it.
You must have tremendous respect for what they accomplished this year and yesterday. And by the way, sidebar, the Giants. Joe Schoen. They put that on the pregame show, him going, we're going to let you test the market, see what you're worth. We're going to pay Daniel Jones.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Did you hear, though, not to get off on a rant here, but did you hear the and I don't know if it was on one of the televised as they're following the Giants or whatever it was, or if it was just leaked video, but when they were discussing what to do with Barkley, Mara came in to discuss it with the GM in there, and he goes, look, I don't care what happens. I just don't want him to go to Philly. Don't let him go to the Eagles. Yeah. So look what happens. But look, okay, all personal feelings aside, all hatred for the Eagles, hatred for Barkley, Kellen Moore, all of and oh my God, Nick Sirianni. Is there a bigger douchebag on the planet?
Why do you hate Nick Sirianni?
This is like a hater.
It's just a hater
stuff. Right in
it's
here.
Just a hater stuff.
Nick never watches our show when I'm on it, clearly.
I know. It's all personal, though. I mean, come on.
Okay, look, all of that aside, Jalen Hurts, awesome postseason. I don't think he had a great regular season, but you cannot deny the postseason run that he went on. He had his two best games of the year in the NFC Championship game and in the Super Bowl. The Eagles' defensive line, good God. Why did they not name quad MVPs of the Super Bowl to go to those 4 dudes? Because they're the ones that deserved it. Nick Sirianni.
Jalen was pretty good.
Oh, he was amazing. I get it. But none of that happens without that front 4 of the Eagles dominating the offensive line and the line of scrimmage the entire freaking game. And I know Nick said it right before I came on, but without a blitz the entire game.
Incredible.
Ridiculous.
Credit exactly what the Bucs did. Although they blitzed more than the Eagles did, but the Bucs shut them down.
Yeah, they did.
And as an aside, and this pissed me off when I put it on Twitter. When Brady's discussing how the Bucs defense shut down the Chiefs, he goes, "Well, the Chiefs didn't have the ability to protect the passer," like pointing towards the Chiefs' injuries as to why the Bucs got after Mahomes. I get that. It's part of it.
It was a big thing, and it was a big thing last night.
But why can't you just say our pass rush was effing unbelievable and he never had we smothered him? I am nitpicking a little bit, but why can't you say that? You're going to give the Eagles all this credit for smothering and this offensive line from the Chiefs wasn't great either. But the Chiefs, they had injuries to move around.
The Chiefs did it to themselves last night because I understand you don't have a great option at left tackle, and that's hard to battle through. But they did something down the stretch this year in the playoffs. They put Joe Thuney at left tackle, who obviously is a natural left guard. Joe Thuney's probably the best left guard, 1 or 2, 3, whatever. He's an all-pro every year in the entire league. You kicked him out to left tackle, and he got obviously worse.
Yeah.
And the guy you put in his spot in left guard is like barely an NFL player.
Yeah.
Like barely an NFL reserve player. So you got
worse at 2 positions.
You made it worse at 2 positions, and your all-pro offensive lineman, you made him really bad out there on left tackle on an island, and then everything else struggles because, it's got to work like a fist and everything.
That's right. Yeah.
And it no longer did. And then I thought Mahomes probably created at least 4 of those 6 sacks on his own.
I thought that and I'm not making excuses for him, but he did not look like the regular Mahomes. I thought he was inaccurate. Now, he was under duress, but I've seen him under duress before make incredible plays, and that's why he's Mahomes. I don't know if you guys saw that when he got his head slammed to the turf early on forget which play was. He was rolling to his right, got sacked, and his side of his head was slammed into that hard artificial turf. I don't think he was at all himself in this game. And that's not to take away anything from the Eagles, but come on.
Because we've never seen Patrick. I mean, I have never seen Patrick Mahomes play this.
He was so bad.
Like, I don't think you could play.
And I'll say this, I know it's garbage time, but why the hell didn't you throw the ball down the field earlier in the game? He turned down a couple of deep throws.
We had a couple of drops too. That probably is like, screw everybody. I'm doing this myself.
But I mean, he's letting it. They're trying not to get beat deep, and they still got beat deep by Worthy at the end of the game. And he, of course, Mahomes.
We didn't even see Xavier Worthy part of anything until it was 27-0.
Yeah, I thought Andy Reid had a terrible game. I thought Mahomes had a Now Andy
Reid got out coached for maybe the first time in his career.
Did. Yes, he did. Absolutely. And even
by
his demeanor. And his demeanor on the side. How about the Eagles defense under Vic Fangio? I didn't realize how bad they were last year. They were 30th in the league. They went from 30th to number 1.
Did you know that Patrick Mahomes was 8-0 going into this game against Vic Fangio defenses? 8-0 when he was with the Broncos. But look, before I let you guys go and before I get off on a rant and get us cut off the air here, full credit to Nick Sirianni. Again, maybe the biggest douchebag on the planet. Full credit to Nick Sirianni for getting out of the way and letting his coordinators coach the game. All right? That's what he should be doing more. It's what a lot of head coaches should be doing more. And then I will give the most credit, and JP, you will know how much this pains me to say this. The most credit I can possibly give as a human being to Kellen Moore, the future coach of the New Orleans Saints.
Oh, this does hurt you.
Because Kellen Moore has grown as a coordinator maybe more than I've ever seen anybody grow in the course of one season, because he went from not having a passing game in his scheme at all in Dallas with Dak Prescott throwing the ball, in Los Angeles with Justin Herbert throwing the ball, to going to Philadelphia and somehow figuring out that passing is important in the NFL and utilizing Jalen Hurts' arm as bad of an arm as Jalen Hurts has, in my opinion, I don't think he's a great quarterback.
Oh, my God.
He figured out how to utilize Jalen Hurts and make that offense viable to the point that they won a freaking Super Bowl. And now he's going to New Orleans. He'll find him a quarterback.
To die.
He'll find it. And don't forget, by the way, Kellen Moore and Derek Carr played against each other in college. And Kellen Moore kicked his ass every single time they played each other.
It was at Boise State, right?
And with Boise State.
Left-handed quarterback.
Yeah.
With a noodle arm.
So full credit to the Eagles. JP, I have audio of me listening to the game last night. This is literally me. No, it's not me. JP knows what this is.
That's Sharapova.
It is. I found it for you.
That
was pretty much. And I'll be real honest. I turned the game off about 3 minutes into the third quarter. I said, F this. I flipped over the channel and I watched To Kill a Mockingbird on TCM.
To Kill a Mockingbird. Awesome.
Yes. So there you go, boys. Have a great show. I don't want to hijack anything. So you guys.
Thanks, Timmy. Thanks for jumping in. And it was a penalty. All right. Thanks. Appreciate it. The game itself was definitely a letdown, but there were still, I think, a lot of great storylines. And I just keep coming back, as this is a Tampa Bay show, to the Buccaneers. Like, how can you be that good against the Super Bowl champions who absolutely dominated and just be mediocre so often this year? And I think it comes down to game management. I mean, you saw throughout the playoffs how teams are uber aggressive to win games, going for one at Kansas City. I mean, are you joking me?
I mean, we see teams beat each other in the regular season all the time that are not better than the team and that happens. Like, I think that's a case of it was a perfect storm in week 4 with the Bucs. The Bucs were coming off. Sorry, they had just gotten their ass kicked by the Broncos, which was really humbling after a 2-0 start. You had it at home and everything, and they did.
Again, how is this roster getting beat 26-6 by the Broncos at home?
Well, the Broncos ended up being a little bit better than we thought. Maybe not that much better, but no. I mean, the Eagles, they didn't have Brown or Devonta Smith. They had no passing game at all to speak of, and that was the one game too where the Bucs actually got home on their pressures, which didn't happen often throughout the year. Like, it was just a perfect storm. But I think if you watch the way Philly played down the stretch, like, the Buccaneers were not in their tier.
Well, and here's the other thing. The Eagles took their bye week, figured out who they are, and ripped off 10 straight. And coaching matters in this league. Game management matters in this league. And this is 2 years in a row when you look at the Buccaneers, actually 3 years in a row, where you got huge, you start great, you have a horrible middle of the season, you finish strong, and there's too much inconsistency. There's way too much inconsistency with what's going on here.
Yeah,
and for this team
4-game losing streaks in the middle of the season.
For this team to be 10-8, in this division, you have 6 gimme games, lose 2 to the Falcons. I mean, this team was and then lose to Washington at home in a game where you get 7 possessions. It's not acceptable. It's not acceptable. Not with this roster, and this roster is getting better. I mean, I hate to be Debbie Downer at this point, and it's not just. I look at this game and I say, wow, we kicked the crap out of the Eagles. The Bucs kicked the crap, and you're sitting at home with a home playoff loss with the 4th best offense in the league. By the way, did you look at Baker Mayfield's numbers compared to the MVP's numbers? Not even close. Baker by a long shot. But nobody wants to talk about Baker Mayfield. You know why? Because we're 10-7 and we lose in the first round.
Well, we are not going to do this today.
I'm going to do it.
We are not.
I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it.
I cannot stand when I am scrolling through Twitter and somebody goes to profootballreference.com, types in player A, types in player B,
defend it.
Hits compare.
Defend it.
We have to go through these numbers. Baker Mayfield is not the same quarterback that Josh Allen is. That's not a slight. I feel like that's just an obvious statement to make. Josh Allen is
based on the numbers. You are correct. Baker was way better.
Numbers, blah 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 blah.
No, the
numbers, blah 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 blah.
By the way, the AFC maybe not as good as we thought. great quarterbacks, great teams. Maybe not as much as we thought.
Are you going to be the person that because I saw this one yesterday too. Well, honestly, if the Ravens or the Bills would have played in this game, it probably would have been different. We had to use the whole college football theory last night. Did you see people saying this
Well, if
argument?
the Bucs beat the Eagles, they should be the Super Bowl champions.
Here you are doing it too. Oh my goodness!
It begs the questions. It begs the questions that I think should be answered. And I think if you're a Buck fan today, you have a little bit of a feeling that there was a lot of unrealized potential on this team.
I do. I feel like the Bucs had a Super Bowl level offense. That was wasted.
Yeah, and a defense that was awful, and a coach that can't manage games that left his defense to win games that had no chance to win games.
One team got better as the year went on in Philly. The Bucs
don't get better as the year goes on.
Kinda. I mean, they peaked at the end of the year.
They did when Brady won the Super Bowl. They did. With Bruce Arians as the coach.
Different team.
Yeah. The much different team, much different roster, no question about it. But again, I just think this team, as I watched that game last night, that came back to me. You guys feel the same way? Hit me in the comments.
I guess so, but there's sometimes, like you keep saying about with this roster, I still don't think this roster touches what Philly just put out there.
No, Philly's rosters. And by the way,
Philly's roster is
shout out to Howie Roseman. That graphic they put out about what he turned the Carson Wentz trade into. Unbelievable.
We did this in real time with the Eagles. When Jalen Carter fell to number 9 in 2023, we all went, well, that's the best defensive player in the draft.
That's right.
9.
That's right.
When Nolan Smith fell to 30, we went, wait a second. Why is Nolan Smith on the board?
Jesus.
Cooper DeJean at 40. We're like, what's he doing at 40?
Yeah.
Like,
because he's a white corner.
I'm not taking exciting whites last night. Zach Bond and Cooper DeJean. But no, it's like, not to take anything away from Cooper DeJean, or no, from Howie Roseman rather, but it's like everybody else had the opportunity to do this, and we all knew it in real time.
That's what makes it great. Yeah,
that's the thing. We knew it in real time that the Eagles were just stealing candy from the rest of the league.
Well, and that's why last year when they exploded at the end of the year, I was like, well, how is this roster? How did the Bucs beat the hell out of them at home in the playoff game? I mean, not the same roster, because they added the 2 corners this year and Zach Mon, by the way, who, by the way, was out there for everybody to get. Zach Mon out there for and then let's not give Howie Roseman too much credit. He went out and thought Devin White was better than Zach Mon, and Zach Mon just beat him out.
Can I make I don't know if this is a hot take or not.
It might be.
I don't know how much cap space the Bucs have exactly. I'm sure they're going to open it up.
Mm-hmm.
I am understanding that Zach Bond will most likely just go back to Philly, because why would you leave?
You're a hero.
You're a hero.
Yeah.
You know, they are the ones who gave you an opportunity to play a 3-down linebacker role. You were finalist for AP Defensive Player of the Year. But I'm just saying.
I didn't realize that the Saints had him playing outside linebacker.
Yeah, the Saints didn't know. The Saints don't know what they're doing. Shocker. Neither does Cam Jordan. Whose face I had to see all week, by the way.
By the way, shout out to Jameis Winston. What a week he had.
Hell of a week.
Jameis stole the Super Bowl.
Of course he did.
Oh, my God.
I part of me is like, I want Jameis to keep slinging that thing as long as someone will sign him to a 1-year deal.
Yeah, he's better on TV.
But the other side of me is like, this guy's ready-made for TV already.
Do you see him, like, standing on the bar, taking purple drink out of his.
I unfortunately saw. Yes.
Oh, that was interesting.
There's too many things to even think about.
Playing the cowbell with the jazz band.
Yeah, he's throwing W cookies at players.
Oh my God, so good.
I don't know.
And nobody could think of that stuff except Jameis Winston, throwing the crab legs down, eating crab legs, like just biting into the
funny,
shell.
When Jameis was in Tampa, there was like he was so hated. I feel like around the league, like everybody was like, Jameis, meh. Like now it's like everybody loves Jameis.
Yeah.
Like I feel like he completely did 180 on his image.
Well, I think once you got, and I've always said this, once you get to know him and just toss away the national narrative, which has always been so wrong on him. Everybody that comes in contact with him loves him. His teammates love him.
He actually said something really cool too. Not to go on like a full tangent, bring up old stuff, but he actually said something this week. I forgot where it was. It was part of. He did so many things.
Yeah.
But he was talking about leadership and everything. How it was on McAfee show on Friday. He was talking about being a leader and everything and whatnot. And he said, when I was in Tampa, I made the mistake. I wanted everybody to like. He admitted it. I wanted everybody to like me.
Yeah.
And I started thinking about those days, and I'm like, yeah. And it came off like the players all saw right through that, especially the veterans. And he's like, and then when I got to New Orleans, I realized, being around Sean Payton and Drew Brees, they don't all have to like you.
No.
But they got to follow you.
Yep.
And
respect you and follow you.
They got to respect you and follow you and everything. And I thought that was refreshing to hear from Jameis because he's realized what went wrong in Tampa.
That's why when they brought in Deshaun Jackson, I was like, this is a terrible idea.
Yeah.
It's a terrible idea because Deshaun is going to cry for the ball all the time. And Jameis is going to want to make him happy because that's what he does. He wants to make everybody happy. And you can't do that. You throw the ball to whom the defense deems you should throw the ball to. You let the defense decide where the ball should go, not who's whining and who you want to make happy and forcing the ball to people. That never works out. That's not the way you play quarterback. You got to say, shut the hell up. I'm the quarterback. Let me run this thing the way it's supposed to be run.
Right.
Yeah. And that was, Jameis is, I've always said this about Jameis, his biggest strengths are his biggest weakness. He's so incredibly lovable and makes everybody like him. He goes out of his way to make everybody like him, but sometimes it's too much. It's too much. You do that at the detriment of your team. Sometimes it's like parenting. Sometimes you got to say no. Sometimes a lot of times you got to say no. And he always wanted to make every play. He could never give up on any play. He's too much of a competitor. But that's Jameis. What we witnessed yesterday was greatness by the Eagles in one of the most dominating Super Bowl wins in the history of the game.
Yeah.
And I think there's, the other part of this is one of the biggest crashes in history in terms of Kelsey, Mahomes. Now we saw a glimpse of this in their regular season. They've won 17 one-score games, which is just insane. But Mahomes wasn't getting to a one-score game. And this was never getting there. And, hats off to the Eagles.
I mean, how long can you go on? Like, the Chiefs had no running game the entire year. Like, yesterday, I knew, obviously, they're never going to be a team that tries to run the football much, but they had, one run, after, the first half.
Yeah.
And you obviously were never going back to it. So you had no running game, really, all year. Like, you're relying on 30-year-old Kareem Hunt to do something. Your receiving core after Rashee Rice, I mean, does it look a little different if Rashee Rice never gets hurt? Maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, because Rashee Rice was on pace to be like an all-pro type receiver before he had the injury. Marquise Brown got hurt week 1, didn't come back to the playoffs, clearly wasn't himself. I told you all, everybody, when DeAndre Hopkins looked great against the Bucs in his Chiefs debut, and everybody was like, the Chiefs did it again, they got a steal. Everybody just let the Chiefs get DeAndre Hopkins. I said, DeAndre Hopkins is cooked.
Yeah.
He just looks good against the Bucs.
Because we're playing soft zone coverage.
Exactly.
And anybody looks good against the Bucs.
I knew that was going to happen, and nothing against DeAndre Hopkins or anything, but he's 32 years old. Father Time has caught up to DeAndre Hopkins, in my opinion. He's just not the same player. And then that brings us to Travis Kelce.
Yeah.
Who last night had the look in his eyes like it looked over to me. Did it look over to you?
Yeah.
I know he said
zero receptions.
I don't know.
Changed my perception.
I was just looking into his eyes. It just looked like like the end.
Yeah. He was cooked. He is cooked. Yeah. And the whole storyline of him and Tay-Tay, is that going to go away now? Is she going to dump him?
Did you notice we didn't even see her on the broadcast at all?
Once or twice.
Not once.
Yeah.
We saw her arriving, and that was it.
Yeah, I think they had one cutaway. One cutaway of her, one cutaway of Trump. That was it. That was probably for the best. Probably for the best. People would have been bitching and moaning. All right, let's take a break. And then we come back. We got to talk about the halftime show. We got to talk about the halftime show.
I'd love to keep talking about Jalen Hurts. And
we can do that too. But and we're going to get to all your comments as well. We love your comments. We're going to hear from Jalen Hurts, Patrick Mahomes as well. So much coming your way, and we got to get to the Bolts. What an incredible week they had. Yes, they have picked it up. Like I told you guys, don't worry about the Bolts. They're going to be fine. All right, we are brought to you by the Jeeves Law Group, JEEVES lawgroup.com. If you have been involved in an accident, you got issues at work, you have insurance issues, anything in the legal realm, the Jeeves Law Group can help you out. They'll give you a free case evaluation. They are local, they are trusted, and they get results. Stay with a local firm, a smaller firm, not one of these huge firms that's just going to make you a number. It's the Jeeves Law Group. Get that special attention, JEEVES lawgroup.com. Back in 3.
Make this Valentine's Day a real hit by coming to Alessi Promotions Gloves and Roses, a night of professional boxing. We'll have something special for all the ladies. February 14th at the Downtown Hilton, experience professional boxing. Citrus County's own Drake Banks, a 7-0 heavyweight with 5 knockouts. And featuring our main event, an NBA title fight featuring undefeated Stephen Ray Jr. Get your tickets online at alessipromotions.com or scan the QR code and go directly to eTix.
Ciao, Paolo Tini here, owner of Caffè Paradiso, voted number 3 People's Choice Award on Open Table. I want to thank all our loyal family of customers that have been enjoying our great traditional Italian dishes we make from scratch every day. It's a great family story we're proud of. Our family moved from Rimini, Italy in 1984. My dad, Caesar, started Donatello, and that's where I got the start in the restaurant business. I started Caffè Paradiso on South McDill in 1995, and we've been there ever since. From our traditional ossobuco, a veal slow roast for 4 hours, to our daily fresh catch, the Gruppo Paradiso, with a piccata sauce and lobster claw meat, homemade pasta like lasagna, farfalle salchicha, which is a bow tie pasta homemade with fresh sausage. Hold on a minute, JP's favorite.
I love it.
So come and have a glass of wine with me on South McDill. Get a reservation on Open Table and see all our 5-star reviews. Ciao, see you soon at Paradiso.
So many of our Tampa Bay neighbors are finding out the hard way from Hurricane Helene that homeowners insurance does not cover flood damage. You must have flood insurance. It's a separate policy. Immediately call Italiano Insurance at 813-877-7799, and they will shop around to find the best policy before rates go up. Lock it in. Over 60% are underinsured in Florida, or you're not getting your discounts that you're entitled to. So do an insurance checkup at Italiano, and they could save you thousands of dollars. Italiano will make sure you're with a highly rated insurer, so there are no surprises in your time of need. Our hearts go out to all our neighbors devastated by Helene. These are the times we're proud to protect all the pieces of your life. Italiano Insurance, 813-877-7799. Old Hurricane Helene put a hurting on Tampa Bay, and for many of you, the rebuild will be a long process. You must beware of unscrupulous contractors offering up quick fixes for incredible prices. It's a scam. So go with long-standing reputable companies like Third Generation Plumbing and AC. My friend John Rodriguez has been serving Tampa Bay since 1995 with hundreds of 5-star reviews. If you need a new AC system or any home repairs from Helene, they will work with insurance companies to get you taken care of quickly, expertly installed, of course, and a 1-year maintenance plan and 10-year warranty included on all AC units. 0% financing for 60 months. Contact them at thirdgenerationplumbing.com or 813-961-8024. That's 813-961-8024, thirdgenerationplumbing.com.
Let's go.
Right now, back to the show on FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show. I got to bring us back here.
Great job.
I got to bring us back.
You gonna do a live read on? Well, you don't have the copy.
I don't have the copy in front of me.
Golden Diamond Store's Valentine's Day promotion is on. Buy one piece of jewelry, get the second one at 40% off. Get her 2 things, or get her 1 thing, get yourself something. Get like a nice watch or a nice chain or a nice bracelet or something for you, or just get her 2 things, or get one for your mom. There's lots of women in your life, right? So you can spend it wisely at the Golden Diamond Source. Get one, buy one, get one 40% off. They're already low prices. Of course, the great customer service there. You just drive in. You guys don't want to do the shopping. You don't want to do it. Let them do all of it for you. Tell them what you got to spend. They'll find some great stuff for you. And boom, you're out the door. It's all wrapped nicely. You don't have to wrap anything. Boom. Easy. We're trying to make it easy for you. Golden Diamond Source is the place to go. 3800 Olmerton Road.
Hey, before we continue, I have a couple things. I meant to say this at the top of the show.
Yes, sir.
And 2-month time has gone on. I have to explain my outfit today because I feel like
Okay.
I just feel like
Yeah, turn to the 2 shot there.
turn around here. I'm rocking the
The Wade Boggs.
I'm
Yes.
rocking the old school Wade Boggs, and I did
Nice.
that. I did that today because I'm sure you saw he announced
Yes.
this weekend that he is officially cancer free. That was on my mind this morning. I saw it in my closet, and I said I'm going to wear Wade Boggs today. I'm going to rep Wade Boggs. So I'm repping Wade Boggs for
Cooperstown collection.
Cooperstown collection, Hall
Nice.
of Famer. Pitchers and catchers are reporting today, so that I cover both bases with the Wade Boggs jersey and the Rays. I have a Lightning shirt underneath here because we've won 4 in a row. And then I had to go with the old Dell Jr. Bud Weiser, number 8 right there.
Wow.
Because it is NASCAR season. The Daytona 500 is this Sunday. Lock in, everybody.
God, I used to, as you know, I used to cover NASCAR when I worked in North Carolina for a couple of years, and I literally went to all the tracks. And of course, we covered Daytona twice a year when I was at Channel 8. All that stuff. I mean, and I loved it. But I could literally name maybe 5 drivers now.
They showed the most popular driver 7 years running on the screen last night at the Super Bowl. Probably missed it.
No, who was that?
Chase Elliott.
Is he the most popular driver now?
Bill Elliott's son.
Yeah, I know that much.
And Joey Logano was the defending champion. He's won 3 championships. He was hanging out with Tom Brady before the game.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And
Wow.
in my head, I was like, Tom has no idea who this is.
He doesn't. He has no idea. So Daytona's coming up this week.
So Daytona's this Sunday. It's probably going to rain, so get your calendar set for Monday.
Oh, God. Is it really?
50% chance of rain.
Awful. It is honestly one of the greatest spectacles in sports. If you've never gone, I need to rekindle my fire for NASCAR and go to the Daytona 500. Are you covering it for On 3?
Yeah, I'll be covering it for On 3.
Will you be there?
Oh, heck no.
They don't give you a credential?
Well, we have a NASCAR guy who I sort of help contribute on the NASCAR side. We have an actual NASCAR guy. He'll be there.
He travels from race to race. Okay. Gotcha. All right. Welcome back. So let's get to some of the comments. You're in charge of that. So throw these up. Appreciate you guys jumping in here each and every day and commenting. So
we'll go up to the front. We had Michael Sorgel was in the chat at 9:37 a.m.
No, because he's in Denmark, for God's sakes.
Really?
It's like 7 o'clock at night for him.
I wasn't aware of this.
Yeah.
That we had fans in Denmark.
Yeah.
So, good morning.
I think it's Denmark, right? Or I get all the Norwegian countries.
Is it called Scandinavia? Am I wrong?
Scandinavia, Norwegian countries. Yeah, I'm sorry we lump you all together, Michael. It's awful, I know, but it is what it is.
Christopher Cole said Bucs beat the better Chiefs team in the Super Bowl.
Oh, yeah. With Cheetah and everything? Absolutely.
Cheetah,
absolutely.
Prime Tyrann Mathieu.
Yeah, not even close.
Yeah,
not even close.
Not even close.
No. This Chiefs team looked really. How did they get through the playoffs? How did they beat Buffalo?
I mean, we never knew. They were playing with fire.
We know how they beat Buffalo.
They were playing with fire all year.
Well, it does add to the narrative that the refs helped them out in so many key situations. It really does. It does.
Yeah.
And this one was too big to rig.
I felt like, though, I know we have 2 weeks before the game, and so there's always these like talking points that take on a life of their own. I thought the ref one was just, I thought it was too much leading up to the game.
When you start asking the players about it,
like
and the coaches
I listened to Roger Goodell's State of the Address last Monday, and he was asked like probably 15 questions. I think 10 of them were about officiating.
Yeah, well, they got an issue with officiating. They really do.
An issue, but
and to me, it's all their own fault. Because of the way they're running the officiating now, because of the review, what is reviewed and what's not reviewed, because of now New York being a part, New York in terms of somebody can the instant reviews that they can change calls, which are actually speeding up the game. I like that part of it, but it's also just leads you to believe that games can be, I'm not saying fixed, but they can be pushed in a certain direction. When key calls come up, you have so many close games in this league. When you have key calls that come up and you can shape who wins and loses game, that's just a fact. That's just a fact. And you have left that open to interpretation now because of, and then you see the 4th down play against the Bills where clearly Josh Allen's torso is over the line.
Yeah.
And the ball's probably in his torso somewhere. I know you couldn't see the ball, but it's just, there's too many of them.
Yeah,
there's just way too many of them, and it leads to speculation.
I agree. It was more so like, because I mean, the Super Bowl media things. Like, I feel like if you're a breathing person and you apply for a credential, you get one for the Super Bowl media day.
Pretty true.
And there was like someone that literally asked a question to Patrick, was like, "Who's your favorite ref?"
Yeah,
and I was like, "Come on, who asked that?"
Just someone looking for attention, and it went viral.
And it went viral.
So they got exactly what they wanted.
Yeah,
that's a problem. That's a problem.
It's just the whole lead up to it. It's always a lot of talking points, but we'll move on. Yeezy said Chiefs offense was horrible. What a boring game. Yeah, we pretty much covered it. It definitely was not the most exciting Super Bowl.
No, it was awful.
John Hill, good morning to you. He said a superior pass rush of 4 men can win big games. Bucs offensive line is a huge asset, but the Bucs D-line needs major retooling.
Just on the edges. And really, I think Yaya's a good player. He's not a dominant player. He's a number 2. They need a number 1. Everybody knows this.
Josh Sweat, if you want to come back to
Josh Sweat. Listen, I have Josh Sweat and then draft a guy. Hell yeah. Where's Josh Sweat from? I know he played at FSU, but I don't know where he actually played his high school ball. Yeah, I would take him. Absolutely.
Let's I have a quick. He's 27 years old. He's from Chesapeake, Virginia, so he's not a Florida boy necessarily, but Anyway, would love to have him.
Jason Light knows this.
Yes,
he knows
he does.
this. And
to the D line, I mean, we love Vita Vea, we love Kalijah Cansey, and then even Logan Hall, he had 5.5 sacks, and Logan Hall's entering a contract year, so he's got a lot to play for. I think you're good at defensive tackle.
Yeah, your interior is among the best in the league.
Yeah,
I would say that your interior probably had more sacks combined than any interior two guys in the league.
Bucs basement. Throw all the money at the free agent inside linebacker on the Eagles, Zach Bond, that is. It's a no-brainer. We need a player like that. Also, good luck, Eagles, because the team won't be the same next season.
And that's how it goes in the NFL. You're going to lose coordinators, obviously. You're going to lose Kellen Moore. You're going to, I don't know if Vic Fangio's going anywhere. He's just
probably not. I mean, he could just stay there forever.
Yeah.
I know he's older and everything. He probably has that job however long he wants it.
Yeah. Yeah. And with that group of players, why would he want to go anywhere? That's dominant. It's dominant.
Okay, we have our first halftime show comment here. So,
well, let's get into it.
William Madden, worst halftime show up with people. Show up with people should rotate with Elton John, Billy Joel, Paul McCartney.
Well, let's not go that old. Old head white guy.
I don't think I need those three in the modern day. No.
Well, listen, from the very beginning, I thought it was an odd choice for Kendrick Lamar because it's not the venue for his act. People love him that know the lyrics to his songs. This is a wide scope we're supposed to be trying to get to, right? We're supposed to be trying to get to huge audience, global audience, right? And I know Kendrick Lamar just won everything at the Grammys. I get all that, but if you're listening to his songs in your car and you know what the lyrics are and you know the different layers to it and the symbolism, it takes on a different meaning. And there was a lot in that last night that I think was way deeper than most people want to go, and they shouldn't. I mean, my chips and dip. I'm halfway into a 12-pack of IPA. I don't need to. Hey, everybody, shut up so we can listen to the lyrics here that we can't even hear, and nobody's going to understand anyway. I mean, it's just it's a super bad choice, and don't stop with the racism and all that stuff. We all love the LA halftime show with Snoop Dogg, and that was fantastic.
You know what I think?
Everybody loved it because everybody knows those songs. We can understand the lyrics.
That's what I was gonna say. Like I loved that halftime show.
That was fantastic.
I loved that when it was Snoop Dogg, Eminem, what was it, Dr. Dre, and then I think Kendrick actually was a feature on there too, with 50 Cent.
Yeah, and
Mary J. Blige.
Mary J. Blige was fantastic.
I thought that was great. I thought Rihanna was great. Obviously. Yeah. I thought Usher was pretty forgettable last year, to be honest. But then again, I'm not the biggest Usher guy, so I didn't know a lot of his songs.
But even some of his songs, going back, people can identify with a larger group. Kendrick Lamar has a very.
I just felt like those songs that you were hearing from Snoop and Dr. Dre, Eminem. I feel like those are
iconic.
They're iconic. They're in pop culture. We all know it. Even if you're not the biggest rap fan, like you've heard those songs and you can get it, for one night. I felt like with Kendrick Lamar, like unless you're a rap enthusiast and that's your number one genre and everything, like I didn't know any of the songs.
When we have the whole stadium screaming out minor because you can't say it because you're in a legal battle with Drake and it's about and there's some, there's a lot of layers to it. And I understand a lot of it, believe it or not. And some of that's, I mean, he's anti-pedo, he's anti the elitist, globalist, whatever. But there's also a lot of different political symbolism in there that people didn't get. Like, what was Serena Williams doing crip walking? What is that all about? I mean,
I was floored. I was like, that's Serena?
Yeah.
On the screen? I mean, I love to see her, of course.
Yeah, it was just not the venue for it. You're criticizing Kendrick Lamar. I don't know if that's not where they went wrong. Choosing Kendrick Lamar is where it went wrong. It's not the venue to best for that. It's just not.
I mean, I went in knowing like, okay, it's not for me, but I understand that there's a large group of people out there like it is for you. And that's fine. Like you're never going to please everybody with the halftime show. So like, I'm not coming on here today to be like, oh, like I didn't get what I wanted. So whatever, like I acknowledge that this was widely praised by a lot of people last night, and that's fine. It just, for me, if you're asking me personally, I'm not really I'm not into like rap and like that, Like I'm more of a casual guy, and I didn't know much of Kendrick Lamar's songs. I thought the audio was kind of something was going on there. I couldn't really like understand what he was saying.
Music was way louder.
Music was a little low, and then okay, I'm young, but like I don't feel like I'm like I mean, you know me.
You're not an old white guy like me.
Yeah, I'm not an old white guy like you. I'm young, but I'm also not like what I would consider like in touch necessarily with everything. And I'm not as in touch with this Kendrick Lamar, Drake
Why does that have to be
sort of beef type
Super Bowl?
deal.
That's not for the Super Bowl.
So I feel like to everybody who's in on that, and a lot of people are, again, that was a cool thing for everybody else. I didn't get it.
Not the right venue.
That's just a me issue.
Not the
Clearly,
right venue.
I didn't
Not
get
the
it.
right venue. When you have more performers in the audience, that would be better than the guy that's actually on the stage. And I'm talking. I would have liked to seen Jameis and Bert Kreischer out there. They were sitting together at the Super Bowl. But I mean, Taylor was there. Paul McCartney was there. Who else? There were a bunch of great performers there. And the guy that was on the stage was just not. It was just wasn't a venue for him. So anyway, what else we got? Yeah, why didn't Michael says the halftime show should have been Beyonce's Greatest Country?
Oh, goodness gracious. We had enough. No, I actually, I like this comment. I'm easy because a lot of people mention this. Lil Wayne, who I believe is a New Orleans native.
Yeah.
And he really wanted this.
Yeah.
And he didn't get it. Like, to me, Lil Wayne, like, we all know who
he's
Lil
more
Wayne.
mainstream.
Oh, he's very mainstream.
Way mainstream.
We all know who
we
all know who Lil Wayne is. We all know his songs. Like, that to me would have made a little bit more sense, I guess. But then again, it's like, you know, Kendrick Lamar, like, he's the thing right now. I mean, he just literally swept the Grammys.
I know, basically. But it's more niche than it is. This is not a niche moment. The Super Bowl should be very global, iconic performers, not this. We won the Grammys. Doesn't make him an icon.
I guess, you know, if you want to make the argument, everybody in the stadium got it. As Bucs Bateman said, like when he did the whole thing where he got to the part where it says a minor, everybody was on it.
Yeah, I mean, I was on it, but that's not the venue for that. Sorry.
Anyway, move on from the halftime. Let me scroll back up to the stuff about the game. Where was I at here? Rick said, we were talking about Saquon didn't really have much effectiveness last night. He said he was effective by being there.
Yeah.
There was entire focus of the defense. If Jalen was above average, the Eagles puke. May be a new dynasty.
I mean, the front four can bring pressure without blitzing. You have a dominant running game and a quarterback that's a good enough passer and is a dominant runner. I mean, listen, that whole RPO is so hard to stop. It's so hard to stop if you're a linebacker. You got to wait, you know, and you got to wait to see if he gives it to Barkley. And by the time you figure out Barkley's got it, he's around the corner or he's on the edge where you can't square him up. And if you can't square him up, he's hard to tackle. You can't tackle him from the side. And then when Jalen pulls it, he's so fast and so powerful. It's the same thing going the other way. I mean, if you're a linebacker, you've got to have the speed and you've got to have the weight and the power when you get there to bring both of these guys down.
Yep.
And if he pulls it and looks downfield and has Devontae Smith and AJ Brown in one-on-one coverage, you're going to get some big shots as well. And then you've got a tight end in Goddard who's has a great catch radius. I mean, they're and you have a freaking dominant offensive line.
Yeah. Let me say this. I know
they are super talented.
Yeah. Let me say this. The Eagles probably have one of the most stacked teams I think we've ever seen win a Super Bowl. I don't think that's living in the moment.
And they could have won 2 years ago.
They could have won 2 years.
And they could have gone back last year, but they self-imploded. That roster last year was good enough. And then they had a lot of injuries last year.
But let me say this about Jalen Hurts, because I feel like there was always this talk about, well, Jalen's the weak link. If there's a weak link on the Eagles,
I never said that. Never thought that.
This is what I was saying last night. Like, yes, we're not really Eagles people around here because we're Bucs people and everything. But I found myself hardcore rooting for Jalen Hurts to get this done because I want to see good people, you know, accomplish things. You know, I think that's in general. We want good people, see them succeed, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know Jalen Hurts. You don't know Jalen Hurts. Most of us have never interacted with Jalen Hurts. But from the outside, watching this guy's career unfold, even going back to his time at Alabama under Nick Saban, to me, he always carried himself very well.
Yeah.
And playing in a market like Philadelphia, which is a pressure cooker, both from a fan standpoint, a media standpoint, Jalen Hurts has always been a stand-up dude. He's always handled it really, really well. And in the big game, in the big moment, Jalen Hurts performs well. You want to hear? I'll give you some numbers. Jalen Hurts in the playoffs, because everybody talks about what he does in the regular season. It's about what you do in the postseason. Jalen Hurts is 6-3 in the postseason. 10 touchdown passes, only 3 interceptions. You want to add his rushing numbers in there? 630 yards, 14 touchdowns on the ground. So 24 touchdowns in 9 games from Jalen Hurts in the playoffs. How about the fact, head-to-head, look at this. Head-to-head in the Super Bowl, he's gone up against Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes in both those games accounted for 477 yards, 25 first downs, 6 touchdowns, 3 turnovers. Jalen Hurts, 654 yards, 37 first downs, 7 touchdowns, and 2 turnovers. Jalen Hurts has gone head-to-head with the guy and has bested him. He played better
by far.
He played better than Mahomes in the 2022 Super Bowl. If not for what happened in that game, the result and everything, Jalen Hurts is winning that Super Bowl MVP.
Another bad penalty.
Yeah, we never have to endure all these discussions of, can Jalen Hurts win a Super Bowl? It's over. Jalen Hurts is a Super Bowl champion, winning quarterback, and I don't care what he does for the rest of his career, you can never take that away from him. He is in that tier now. When you win a Super Bowl, I don't care if you're Nick Foles, I don't care if you're Brad Johnson, I don't care if you're Trent Dilfer, I don't care if you're Jalen Hurts. You are there. You made it. You're a Super Bowl champion forever, and nobody can ever take that away from you. And then to his story, imagine being the quarterback at Alabama, national championship, the biggest game of your life, you get benched for a true freshman quarterback
at halftime,
who goes on to win that national championship. Jalen Hurts
with a walk-off touchdown.
Exactly. Jalen Hurts didn't pout about it.
Nope.
He didn't whine about it.
Nope.
He was a great teammate. He went to Oklahoma. He got better. He kept moving. The mental toughness on the guy is probably the greatest compliment I can give him. And he's continued that in his NFL career, and he's just a winner. We throw that around all the time, but check the numbers on this dude. He wins everywhere he goes. And so that's why I love Jalen Hurts, and I can't say enough about him today.
I agree with everything you just said. Everything. I remember watching that post game of after Tua comes in and is the hero, and Jalen was like on the dais, and they were interviewing him because he was the starting quarterback, and he was so good. He was so good, and every interview he did last night was all about team and giving the praise to God. I mean, he's and you mentioned that pressure cooker. He's got a head coach that he doesn't get along with. Remember the straitjacket comment?
Yeah.
I mean, that's crazy, And yes, I'll cop to this. I'm the big culture guy. Camp Kumbaya, all that stuff. The Eagles don't have the greatest culture. I mean, in fact, they've got a lot of dysfunction.
From the outside looking in, it looks like that, but I feel like what I said earlier, they almost to me, they thrive in what they have.
Yeah, I agree. But there's a lot of
it wouldn't work in
AJ Brown and Jalen Hurts, all that, him reading a book on the side, all that, silliness. But to Jalen's credit, he's not going to just throw the ball to AJ Brown because he wants it. You're winning football games. Shut the hell up, AJ. You're winning football games.
AJ had 3 catches for 43 yards yesterday.
Yeah.
He got a touchdown, but I don't think anybody cares about that anymore because it's not about that. It's about what's doing best to win the football game.
That's right. And Jalen's not afraid to say, hey, it's not like Jameis. What are you going to make everybody happy? He's like, hey, shut up. We're doing what's best for the team. Yeah, it's really, I think it's really noteworthy that he has been able to overcome all that. I will say this though, he is a joyless soul. He is a joyless. He doesn't have an outward joy to him at all, and that's who cares, right? Who cares?
Yeah,
that's the way he is. I don't know if you saw this. I turned over to ESPN after the game, and they had Saquon and Jalen on the dais. And of course, it was Saquon's birthday, so they brought out a birthday cake, and Saquon is just chowing on the cake while Berman's trying to ask questions, and he's just not even answering. He's just chowing, and Jalen's like, "Yeah." Mm-hmm. They're giving one-word answers. It was very awkward. Poor Booger had to be on the set as well. It was just kind of weird.
But I feel like is that a bad quality to have? I feel like
being a joyless celebrator. I don't know. No,
he just has a very business-like mentality kind of dude. He showed up to the Super Bowl and it was business for him.
Yeah.
I love that out of my quarterback. I want that out of my quarterback. And again, playing quarterback is what you do on the field, as is only half the battle.
Right.
It's all about how you interact with your teammates, how you lead, how you handle the media, how you handle the scrutiny. That's what I'm saying. He checks all the boxes. So what if he doesn't throw a beautiful ball like Joe Burrow? So what if he doesn't? He's not an athlete like Lamar. Like Lamar Jackson's in his own tier. I'm not taking anything away from Jalen Hurts, but he's a really good athlete. But maybe he's not Lamar. So what if he doesn't have the prototypical size like a Justin Herbert? Who cares? Whoever said that was the only way? Those are the qualities you had to win football games.
Yeah,
he's proven that's BS.
Yeah, and his ability, like we talk about the tush push. Oh, it's a part of the reason it works is because of him. Squatting 600 pounds. He's an absolute brutal guy to take down. And that matters. And it's a different, we're so settled into this being a passing league. It doesn't have to be. And the Eagles proved that.
The running back made a hell of a comeback this year.
Yeah,
we just saw Saquon Barkley rush for the most yards regular season and playoffs ever.
2,400 plus.
Ever.
Wow. It's a lot.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of individuals to like on the Eagles. They're hard as a team because of their fan base, quite frankly, to like. But I found myself pulling for them, and they made me money. All right. Any other comments? What else we got? Christopher Cole says the national anthem was the worst. It wasn't memorable. It wasn't memorable.
I mean, it was a unique, sort of jazz inspired, New Orleans. Like I got
John
it.
Baptiste.
Like I got it. I wasn't like. Again, I don't know if it's going to be as memorable as some others, but I thought it was fine. I didn't hate it.
We didn't even mention about the Palestinian flag protester that was on the field for it seemed like 2 minutes during the halftime show.
I guess I thought this person was part of Kendrick's act and just went rogue.
Oh, really?
I think
Is that what happened?
I could have
from a security standpoint. He was supposed to be one of the dancers and just went rogue.
I think so.
And I guess some of the security people thought he was part of it.
Yeah, because the way Schefter said it today, he said a performer in Kendrick Lamar's Super Bowl halftime show. So when I read that, I was like, oh, was he a part of the actual show?
Yeah, and it took him a while to figure that out. Well, maybe he was.
Yeah, he was a part of the 400 member field cast and went rogue.
Did he go rogue? Or was it planned?
I think he went rogue. He went rogue there.
Do we know that?
Elijah Barrera, good morning to you.
Good morning, Elijah.
He said, JP, the Super Bowl sucked. The game sucked. The commercials
sucked. I don't disagree. The commercials are so bad.
Kendrick Lamar isn't my cup of tea. Didn't care for the halftime performance. So you didn't have a great day yesterday,
Elijah did not enjoy that at all.
I don't even care about the commercial. Like I wrote a big primer for the commercials.
Used to be so good.
Yeah, like I wrote like a big.
You can't tell a joke anymore
for the commercials on 3 and everything, and like jotted down like some of the notable ones that were coming out, and some of them were kind of catchy. But I feel like now, like I'm so focused on the game and everything, like I don't even watch the.
Well, they used to be so good and creative, and now everything's so safe, and you offend everybody. You can't do anything. You can't make a joke about anything. Although the Jeep ad was awesome. The Jeep ad with Harrison Ford, I thought was really good. They spent $32 million on that because it was 2 minutes long. It was really good though. The MSC ad, which I'm a big fan of MSC Cruises, by the way, with Drew Barrymore and Orlando Bloom, that broke their website. It worked so well. People went to book it and slammed their website. There was
some weird one too. I don't know why this one sticks out to me, but I just happened to be watching it when it happened. Was the Angel Soft commercial?
I don't recall that one.
It had like a 30-second ticker going, and it was like, it's time for your bathroom break or something like that. And it was just really odd.
I got to give it to Post Malone and with Shane Gillis.
Yeah,
the Bud Light commercial, the cul-de-sac. That was awesome. That was going back to the great Bud Light days.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was fantastic. That was really good.
Do they still do the old Budweiser commercials with the Clydesdales and everything?
I don't think we've lost those too.
We lost that.
We lost those too. Those were so iconic.
And the Coors Light. I remember all the beers one, like the Coors Light with the train coming through the mountains.
What about the Seal one? The Seal. What was that? It was for Mountain Dew. Yeah, that was awesome.
And I think they recreated the old Doritos commercial from 15 years ago, where the commercial back then 15 years ago was some adult stole a kid's Dorito and the kid slapped him across the face.
Fantastic.
And now the guy is older and they replayed it, and he was and I guess people were crapping on it then, and they were like, you think you could do better? Make a commercial, and if it's better, we'll give you $1 million. So I guess there's a contest for it.
They did a contest. Yeah, it was good. It turned out really well for them.
Yeah.
I don't remember any other ones that were good.
No, I don't. There was the most notable commercial, the one that most people were talking about, was the flag football commercial.
NFL, what are we doing there? Oh, let's get some overzealous white kids challenging a black girl
Chad.
in football.
I thought it was
Chad,
funny.
like it was,
Chad.
it was so stereotypical. If that was flipped the other way, people would be losing their minds. And that's by the NFL. And like I want to celebrate girls football and girls, and that's the way you do it. That's the way you do it.
I knew you would have an issue with that.
Well, it's so stupid. Like you don't have to go there. It's so cliche. It's so. I mean,
I don't know. When
Kendrick Lamar talks about us being divided, this is why.
I don't know. When I heard the girl call him Chad, I kind of cracked up a little bit.
That was good. But it's come on. We know exactly what we're doing there. We're perpetuating a stereotype, and the NFL doesn't have to do that. There's so many more ways you could have celebrated female flag football instead of further dividing people. I just hate that whole idea. It's so bad, and the NFL had to be part of it. Well done. I mean,
William Madden chimed in. He said, "Do you think Tom Brady comes back to the booth next year?" No.
There's too much conflict of interest. There's too much conflict of interest. He was terrible at it. I shouldn't say terrible.
I thought he was fine.
He's fine.
Now, maybe you don't want fine in the Super Bowl.
Well, he was criticizing the refs, so I guess doesn't he get penalized for that? He's not supposed to do that. I mean, when we put all these guardrails on him, he can't go to all these other things. You can't say certain things because he's well, then what's the point? What is the point?
I just think he's miscast. Like, I think Tom Brady on TV can be really good. I do think the role he's in is he's miscast because when Tom, like, for example, I don't know if you saw the clip that was going around. Tom was on a Colin show on Friday, and he literally answered a question that Colin had asked him about, the Super Bowl, the magnitude of the game. He talked for like 4.5 minutes, gave this really good answer. And I was on like the edge of my seat listening to it.
You're right. You're 100% right.
And he was talking about like, when you lose the Super Bowl, that lives with you forever. And like he was talking about like his preparation, with the last one with the Bucs, and how he spent the entire 2 weeks watching film, and he was calling out Daniel Sorensen. Like I knew the way he moved.
Yeah.
Like I had all the answers to the test. Like hearing him talk about that
in long format,
I know he can do it.
Yeah.
But when you're asking him to try to dumb it down into 20 seconds, 10 seconds in between plays, it's just miscast.
Well, the great ones can do it. That's why they're great.
Yeah, like Aikman has mastered it.
Yeah, and it takes a while. I don't think I think when your thought of him being miscast, I don't think he's a good analyst. Might be a better studio analyst, might be better on podcasts, all those things.
Yeah, he's really good on podcasts.
I just don't think he brings anything to the booth. And then he's such an icon and so hated by so many that he brings that baggage with him. And so everything he says can be parsed out. When he's talking about officiating, people are like, oh, and he brought up the tuck rule how many times? Because he's self-conscious about it.
Yeah, I thought there might have been, whenever it got to 24-0 or 27-0, whatever it was, I think Tom might have had a moment there where it was like, okay, Tom, you've been here before. We know 28-3.
Yeah.
I feel like he mentioned it. He probably could have maybe gone in a little bit more of now, okay, what is Patrick? What are the Chiefs thinking?
Yes.
And I think he missed it there.
Because he was afraid he's thinking, you can hear it. You can feel it.
You can hear the
in the back
in his voice.
He's thinking in the back of his head, oh, if I start bragging about 28-3, people are going to criticize me for bragging about 28-3, come back and making it all about me. Well, sometimes you need to make it all about you. That's why you're in the booth. You were in that position. Yeah. You were down 28-3. Make it all about you. Tell me how many possessions are left in the game and how many you have to score on in order to make the comeback. Tell me what was going through you. That should have been the entire conversation, but he was afraid to do it.
Yeah, I still think he brings legitimacy to everything because he is Tom freaking Brady, and I think that's what Fox was going after. Like I thought, and we didn't even mention it, I actually thought the best thing in the pregame festivities was the tribute to the LA fires. Did you see that right before where it was Lady Gaga? And I guess I read today they filmed that at 3:30 in the middle of the night on Thursday on Bourbon Street. There was that big thing with all the all the LAPD and LAFD.
Yeah.
And then they had the line in front with Terry Bradshaw, Sean Payton, Michael Strahan, some others, and then Tom Brady's in the center of it, right? And Tom's, he's very tall and everything. He's right in the center, and he started speaking and everything. Like it brought a legitimacy to it.
I did not see that.
And then it translated into Lady Gaga, who performed a beautiful song like a 3.5-minute song with the piano and everything on Bourbon Street. I actually thought that was the best thing of the pregame festivities last night.
I missed that.
You should definitely go back.
I'm gonna go back and check that out. There were a lot of things in the lead up that I thought were really the Marty Smith's piece on the tragedy in New Orleans with Tiger Besh.
Oh
God, that was that was a tearjerker.
Yeah,
that was hard. That was really hard to listen to and watch, but great, but really, really good, really, really well done. He's a great storyteller. That was good. All right, let's take a break. When we come back, more of your comments, and we're going to get to the Bolts. We're going to do some Rays talk as well. They report tomorrow. Pitchers and catchers reporting tomorrow. So let's
it's on.
Let's get into a little Rays talk as well. All that coming your way as we continue here. Don't forget about the Gold and Diamond Source Valentine's promotion going on. Buy one, get one for 40% off. So head on over to the Gold and Diamond Source. And Alessi promotions coming up on Friday night. Valentine's there. Me and Ashley are going to be there ringside. Great fights. Drake Banks from Homosassa Spring, undefeated heavyweight, will be there. They've got an entire card. Really, really talented boxers. And that's going to be at the downtown Hilton. Go to alessipromotion.com to get your tickets right now. Do something different. Take your wife, your honey out to maybe a great dinner and then come over and watch some great fights as well at the Hilton. It's the Valentine's Day Gloves and Roses. alessipromotion.com. Go get your tickets there. Going to be super fun. I'll see you there. Hey, JP here for my concierge medical professional, Chris Lugo, PA. You've heard him on the show for a couple of years where he shares invaluable medical, nutritional, and supplement advice. With Chris, it's like having a medical provider as your best friend. What I love about this concierge service is the convenience and support he offers. I can text or call him 24/7 with any questions or concerns, and he'll promptly call in a prescription if needed. No office visits or copays required. It gives me peace of mind knowing I have someone genuinely invested in my health, not just focused on insurance profits. And the best part, the Bay Area Modern Medical Center's personal concierge service is more affordable than you might think. Don't let insurance companies dictate your health care. Take control of your health and wellness today. Visit BAMMC.com for more information and to schedule your initial free consultation. Empower yourself and take charge of your personal health with BAMMC.com. Hey guys, why not kick off 2025 by popping the question? Yes, and you know where to get that perfect engagement ring. It's the Gold and Diamond Source. The best prices, the best quality, and yes, get her a real diamond. You don't want to go with the fake stuff. And January's birthstone is garnet for all you FSU fans, right? Get 15% off all the unforgettable garnet jewelry at the Gold and Diamond Source. Also, discover Emilique by Emily Johnson Weintraub, a sleek and modern jewelry line that makes everyday gifts extraordinary. And don't forget, you have any unused gold? Turn it into cash or a stunning new piece. With gold prices soaring, there's no better time to trade up. You can do it all at the Gold and Diamond Source, 3800 Ulmerton Road, always online at thegoldendiamondsource.com.
This Valentine's Day, a real hit by coming to Alessi Promotions Gloves and Roses, a night of professional boxing. We'll have something special for all the ladies. February 14th at the downtown Hilton, experience professional boxing. Citrus County's own Drake Banks, a 7-0 heavyweight with 5 knockouts. And featuring our main event, an NBA title fight featuring undefeated Stephen Ray Jr. Get your tickets online at alessipromotions.com or scan the QR code and go directly to eTix.
JP here for the Jeeves Law Group and my man Scott Jeeves. If you're going to hire an attorney, do you want some guy looking for a quick settlement and a quick buck, or do you want an attorney with some chops? Scott is a board-certified civil trial lawyer and a certified circuit court mediator. Been practicing in the Tampa Bay area for over 30 years. He is a peer-reviewed AV preeminent-rated civil trial lawyer. They just don't hand out those classifications. He's been the lead class action counsel on many complex consumer protection cases and has handled hundreds of serious personal injury cases. He's dedicated his career to protecting injured victims and is committed to vigorously representing you. We're local, we're trusted, and we get results. Personal injury and personal attention. Call for a free case evaluation. That's 888-9-JEEVES. That's 888-9-JEEVES. The Jeeves Law Group.
Let's go.
Right now, back to the show on FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show here on this Super Bowl Monday. It was a dud of a game, an awful halftime show. I wonder what the ratings are going to be like. Probably not good.
I'm sure they're just fine.
Yeah.
It's the NFL.
It's the NFL. The TVs just stay on anyway. You have to watch it all the way to the end anyway. And we are brought to you by Third Generation Plumbing and AC. If you have any issues with plumbing, AC, or anything around the house, they do it all at Third Generation Plumbing. And they do it on time. They do it at a great price, and you will get an honest price. So many AC people will come and try and sell you a new system when you don't need one, or do plumbing repairs that you don't need. Like, you have no idea. You have to trust the person that's doing it, right? That's why you go with a reputable local company. By the way, with all these hurricane repairs that are out there, chatted with somebody this weekend who had a flood in their home. Said that she interviewed 10 contractor, and she goes, they were all thieves. Every single one of them. It's hard to find honest people, especially these days with all these hurricane repairs that are going on. You have a lot of contractors, unscrupulous folks that have come into the marketplace. Go with Third Generation Plumbing, the folks that have been here for 3 generations since 1995. You know what you're getting. So go to thirdgenerationplumbing.com. You can reach them through that, and please tell them JP sent you over there. So if you're having troubles with your contractor, go get someone that can do the job the right way and is reputable. John Rodriguez is the owner. If you have any issues, you call him up. He will make it right. Trust me on that. All right. Want to talk a little Bolts?
Let's do it.
I actually watched a lot of the game yesterday. Had to get my hockey fixed. And in fact, I missed most of the first period, but I'll watch the rest of it. Jeez, oh Pete. 72 shots towards the net, or 78 shots towards the net, 19 with 39 scoring opportunities, 19 high danger chances, and Vasy let in 3 goals.
Yep.
I didn't see what the expected is, but the expected was probably 7. And the Bolts win 5-3. Dylan Duke got his first goal, huge greasy goal. There's so many good things in this 4-game run against Ottawa. You know, Tuesday night, I keep going back to this, and because I think it's kind of a seminal moment of the season. You had 4 games in the Atlantic Division. You were 3-9. You had to have them, at least 3 of the 4. It was a must. Breaking even would have been bad. Losing 3 of 4, you're toast. And so this was the moment. And they're going into the third period. They're tied against Ottawa. They get the huge goal from Brandon Hagel, get an empty netter. They win that one, 4-2, or maybe 4-3. And that is a huge win. And then they beat Ottawa again. Another tight game. Brandon Hagel with a huge go-ahead goal there. They go into Detroit on an afternoon game, and Vasy plays both games back to back.
They chased the goalie in 3 minutes.
3 minutes. I mean, and then had to hang on because Detroit was in that second period just assaulted them. It was a terrible period for the Lightning, but Vasy stood tall, only allowed 1. I mean, it was a hell of a performance, and it reminded me a lot of that Stanley Cup team. They played great at times, but when they didn't, Vasy was there to make some incredible saves. And that's their formula. So they go into this with a 5-0-1 heading into the break, the Four Nations break. And now they've gone from out of the playoffs to, I think, 5 points out of first place behind Florida with 2 games in hand.
Yeah, only 2 behind Toronto for second. Same amount of games played there. And that was the thing. Like, the Lightning had games in hand on pretty much everybody in the league. Well, you got to make them count.
Yeah.
And when you get 4 games in 6 days.
All Atlantic Division.
2
on the road back to back.
And you win all 4. I mean,
in regulation,
you go back to Tuesday before puck dropped. The Lightning. I mean, if the season had ended right then and there,
you're out.
You're out. You're not in the playoffs. And now we stand here today. 6 days later, and the Lightning are sitting at 66 points, and Ottawa's down at 62, and Detroit 61. So now you have you've played the same amount of games as both those teams. You're even with them, and you have a 4-point lead on them. Not saying you can let up or anything, but you created a cushion for yourself. That's what you did by winning 4 games. And I think the biggest problem with the Lightning over the last month, the slide that they had been on, was the scoring just sort of started drying up. And we talked a lot about that it was going to have to come down to a mean somewhere. Came down pretty hard, probably further than we wanted it to. But then this week, they go out and score, 4 against Ottawa on Tuesday night, or 5 with the empty netter. How many did they score?
6 against Detroit.
Yeah, 6 against Detroit. 5 last night or yesterday against Montreal, by the way.
He had scored 20 goals in the last 5 games or 4 games.
By the way, Nikita Kucherov doesn't play yesterday.
How about that?
let's throw Nick Paul on that line. And Nick Paul scored maybe the best goal I've ever seen Nick Paul score, to be honest. That's a goal scorer's goal right in front of the net, roofed it, bar down.
Sorelli is fighting something. He missed the game, but got back in there. I mean, they're
Zimgis Gergesons. Hello.
How about that goal?
Finally scored a goal. Finally scored a goal. Luke Glendening scored a goal this week. So you were able to get some depth scoring finally. Chernak even scored a goal. He never scores goals. He got one this week too. So, like, it was a big week for the entire team. And then, like you mentioned, Vasilevsky, when the Lightning had periods where they just were not playing well and you could tell that the other team had the momentum, Vasilevsky, man.
So good.
So good.
Yeah.
So good.
We thought Halverson was going to get a look this week and get his first start, but I thought
John didn't mess with it.
No, he's like,
No.
listen, you got 2 weeks to rest, Vasy. Go out there and put it out there. And he did. And he was huge. I think that was a great call.
And so now the Lightning sit here, and it's crazy. Like, we went through a month where it felt like they just could not score, even though they had all these chances. The Lightning now have scored the most goals in the Eastern Conference.
Yeah.
197 goals. One more than Washington. They've only given up 153 goals against. That's third fewest in the Eastern Conference, plus 44 goal differential, which is second to Washington, who was plus 56.
Is that good?
It's pretty good.
And people are panicking.
And we were panicking.
And the Lightning, by the way, are 13th in the power rankings. Last check. 13th.
You just can't. I can't. They have things they need to fix. There's no doubt about that. You're asking me today, do I think they can win a Stanley Cup as currently constructed? I have my doubts because I think they probably need to make a move or two. And trust me, I think Julian Brisebois will.
They will.
But the reason why you can't count the Lightning out is because the high-end talent. And after that game on Detroit, I saw it pop up on Twitter. 4 guys now have scored more than 25 goals through 54 games. The only other team that's done that in the last 35 years is the 92 Penguins.
Think about
it's
that.
like, how do you count them out because of that?
You can't. I don't know why they're getting such a lack of respect. I guess it's because, last week they were out of the playoffs, but you look at their analytics, I don't know. Even when the Lightning are on top, I feel like they don't get their respect. So if they're kind of middling in terms of the standings, even though they've played 6 less games half the time than some of these teams, it's like, can't you read it?
Everybody,
can't you read?
Listen, I understand how the league works. Tampa's been there, done that. Stanley Cups.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to see Ottawa finally break through the ceiling. We've been waiting on the Yzer plan to come together for all this time in Detroit.
And they have signs of life.
And they have signs of life. Carolina,
Montreal.
Washington has been the story of the season, not taking that away from them. There's a lot of other stories right now in your own Eastern Conference that I think people have gravitated
Get that.
to.
Yeah. No, I get it. And who cares?
But who cares?
Who cares? We don't have luckily this isn't college football and they're not going to be held out of the playoffs because of their power ranking. So they'll get in. But I have if you look at some of the quote rumor mill, the Lightning have scouts out and they're looking at everybody. And Julian Brisebois is not going to stand pat. He's going to add 1, maybe 2. But I think he's also getting a look at Dylan Duke. Gage Gonsalves has come back and I think he's had 4 assists in the last 3 games. He's playing on the top line. He's playing a totally different game than he was before. I think Connor Geekie will come back with a little bit of clarity as well and might be able to add something, but I still want to see him go out. And JJ Moser's coming back as well. And JJ Moser played great.
And we need to get word too, because you mentioned it last Monday about Isaac Howard.
Isaac Howard, forgot about him.
Is he eligible to play at all? Because
100% eligible.
I saw this weekend he scored his 22nd goal of the season. He was
leading the
second.
NCAA.
He's
second now.
He's leading the nation in points, and he's second in goals, and he turns 21 in next month.
And Michigan State's second in the nation.
Yeah.
So he's leading his team. So they're winning. He's the reason they're winning. Look at Matthew Nyes did last year for Toronto.
Yeah.
So think about this. They add a couple of pieces of veteran forward talent. You get Moser back, and then you've got Isaac Howard and Gonsalves, and who knows what Dylan Duke can do in scoring that greasy goal. So this team is good now. It could be really good by playoff time.
So how do you feel about the fact that I feel like this is always a talking point is, there's always the breaks and everything. And now we go to this 2-week break for most of the play. I mean, you still have 5 players that are here. And the Lightning are now playing really good hockey. And now it just sort of hits a stop.
Are they though? Like, did they play good yesterday?
Okay, no. The results were good. The results were good.
Like both Saturday and Sunday, I feel like, and they're missing players, they're gritting it out, and they're winning. This is what I love. So I don't think that just shows me the championship character and the core of this team is still there. They knew it. They knew it this week. We got to win these 4 games. They knew that. Vasy knew it. Hedman knew all this. The core, the championship core of this team knew that. And this is when Cooper says, what you got? Show me what you got. What's in there? This is what championship teams do. It doesn't matter who's on the ice. It doesn't matter who you're playing. Doesn't matter if it's back to back. Doesn't matter if it's afternoon games. None of that shit matters. We're going to go win the hockey game. Yeah. We're going to get a lead in the third period. We're going to keep it, and we're going to win the hockey game. And that's, you can look at all the different metrics and scoring chances and high danger and all that. And it just proves your point. Who won the game? Lightning won the game when they had to win. That's what the playoffs are all about. Everybody's hurt. Everybody's, got pieces of their ear hanging off.
Depending what's going on with Cooch, it could just be an illness or something minor. I mean, he gets 14 days off.
Yeah.
So
Jesus. And he'll be on the ice 13.
Vasilevsky gets 14 days off,
Outstanding.
Like,
although he's really getting his timing back and he's really seeing the puck well. I mean, that part of the break bothers me a little bit, but I think that'll come back.
The other thing is, though, the players that are going off, I mean, they already play, like if you're Point, obviously, like you already play with 2 world-class players, but now you're going to play with more world-class players. You're Hagel and Cirelli. Now you're representing your country, which nobody really saw coming into the season.
No.
Like the idea of Hagel and Cirelli, maybe one of them making the team, but both of them making the team. And I just saw they already have the line rushes because their first practice is happening right now. Hagel and Cirelli are playing together.
Of course they are. That's why Canada's going to win.
With that Nat Bo Bennett, that's going to be a tough line to. I want to play that line.
Oh God, no.
Points playing with Marchand.
Well, those are the only 2. They're probably the only 2 forwards. I haven't looked at all the rosters to be quite honest, but typically in these type of games, the guys that make the team are the guys that score the most. Yeah. But those are not the guys that defend. And by the way, you need to defend.
Both the Canadians and the U.S. constructed their rosters with some sandpaper at the bottom, and that's why I saw the bottom 2 lines for Canada this morning in line rushes. Marchand, Point, Seth Jarvis, who's with Carolina. So
God, that's your third line?
That's your third line, and then the fourth line is Hagel, Cirelli, and Bennett. And then the Americans,
Canada's plus 450. I'm going to put some money on Canada.
The Americans countered that, like they brought Brock Nelson with them, they brought Vinny Trocheck with them, and everybody was like, "Well, there's more talented players than those 2 guys, but they're veterans. Yeah. They win faceoffs. They've played in big games. Like that's kind of what
Who's
you're building
coaching
a
USA?
Team. Ooh,
obviously Cooper's coaching Canada. Yeah, I think Sweden's third favorite at plus 750. I think Finland's like plus 2,000.
Is it Mike Sullivan?
Mike Sullivan. Okay.
Interesting.
All right.
Interesting.
All right.
John Tortorella is an assistant.
Ooh.
Speaking of coaches, by the way, I just wanted to point this out too, because there's a common theme, and I see this on, again, Twitter is not the real world. Let me preface that. But when the Lightning have these stretches where they're not playing well and they're losing games, I'll go through like the comment sections under like the Lightning's Twitter account.
Mm-hmm.
And there are actual people and people agreeing with these people.
I see
that are like, John Cooper's message is getting stale. It might be time to switch it up a little bit. And I think that's absolutely just, you're brain dead if you're making that assertion. But then I saw the Athletic player poll that came out on Friday. Which coach would you like to play for most that is not your coach? And guess who won in a landslide?
John Cooper.
John Cooper. So y'all
Shocking
can
development.
shove it. We have the best coach in the National Hockey League.
By far.
It ain't close. So please, we don't need to make these crazy statements that the message is not getting through.
Well, how many Lightning fans were jumping off the bandwagon last week? I saw a lot like, oh, this team's not going anywhere. We missed this guy. We missed that guy. It's like salary cap, bro. Sorry.
And by the way, have you looked at the cap? It's finally going up.
Yeah.
The Lightning are out of cap hell.
Yeah.
And them, like every other team, have the ability. And the Lightning, the great thing about the Lightning is they already have all their core already signed.
Right.
And now the cap's going up. So Lightning have discounts now on all their top players.
That's right. For long term.
We can get back to what we had before now.
Yeah. The Lightning window is
It actually just
reopening.
opened up even more because of the cap.
Yeah, and you look at the Bucs are the same way. The Bucs have all their guys, their core guys, mostly on team-friendly contracts, and they've created a culture where guys want to stay here for less money anyway.
And now it's time for Jason to do the thing that he doesn't like to do, and that is
give up draft picks to get.
You got to part way with the draft picks to get a premier pass rusher. Well, you got to do it.
The Myles Garrett thing is too much.
No, Myles is probably not happening. But like I'm going to continue to bring up Trey Hendrickson until that doesn't happen.
I agree.
If you want to go the free agency route, you can go get Josh Sweat.
Yep.
Who's even younger than both of them.
Yep.
I don't think he's the player that those two guys are, but last night I thought he was the best player on the field for the Eagles.
Yep.
So he's available. I mean, you have options.
There are options, absolutely, and get an older player, and then you're going to draft one. And this is a good at 19. They're going to get a good edge rusher.
See, I don't even know if I want to pick an edge rusher at 19.
Oh, I do.
You do.
Oh God, yes. You can't have enough. You need an older one, and you need to pair one with Yaya. Yaya's a 2. If you the pressure you're going to get from them inside,
yeah.
You just need a guy that's special athletically that can go one-on-one and just beat you. And there's a few in this draft that can do it. The Mike Green kid from Marshall he's spectacular.
Fantastic.
If he's there, whew, I mean those are
It's going to be the Jack Sawyer types. I don't know. I mean, I don't know yet about how I feel about Jack Sawyer as a prospect or anything, but just on the surface, he seems like the kind of guy that he just feels like a good glue piece.
Yeah,
to a championship winning team at his best.
Yep.
Like I don't know if he's going to be a dominant player,
but if you get a guy that's athletic and just one of those freaks, and you can pair him with those other guys, I mean, you got a Philadelphia Eagles line. You got something that's similar.
Until the Buccaneers.
Todd Bowles can't even screw that up.
Yeah, but I truly believe though the Buccaneers, like as much as they need a premier pass rusher and that, I still think number one need is in the middle of the field. I mean, you
can find that though.
You can find
Zach Bond. It's not just Zach Bond. I mean, there are other inside linebackers.
I think the Bucs need 3 new linebackers because this is hard.
Inside.
This is hard for me to say.
Servassier Dennis is a good player.
I'm not putting he's been injured too much.
I know.
I can't go into it thinking, Servassier is going to save me. But here's the thing.
But you got to, if Servassier is a piece, you can't just ignore it.
He can maybe be a part of the roster, but I'm not stopping that from letting me go get 3 new linebackers because even if Levante comes back, and this pains me to say, even if Levante comes back, I got to be honest.
Yeah, it's not the same guy.
Doesn't move the needle for me. And Levante David cannot be the guy. He's not the guy anymore that can give you 3 downs.
No.
If Levante comes back, it's a specialized role.
Yeah.
Pains me to say it.
It's not $10 million.
But that's where we are.
And I don't think he comes back unless he's the guy. So we'll see. We'll see. But you have to address that. And corner. You got to address corner. You got to get somebody who can catch the ball.
They need a lot. You still need to say who's playing next to Winfield. I mean, based on what Whitehead showed, like.
Well, listen. First of all, you didn't even have Winfield this year. He was injured the whole year.
Right.
So you're getting him back. You're going to add a free agent piece up front. You're going to draft a free agent piece. You get a second round corner. You should be able to get a Cooper DeJean, as you said, 40.
Well, that'd be great, but
you can get a good corner in the second round. And safety might be one you can go find a veteran as well that doesn't cost a whole lot of money.
John Hill just reminded me. I meant to say this today, and I think you're going to like this one from me. It's the Bucs' 50th season, so the golden anniversary. I am saying this out loud, and again, this is another thing that pains me to say because I love when the Buccaneers have their orange and everything. I love the apparel.
I love the apparel.
I love it all.
I have a Baker creamsicle now myself.
Yeah, I have my Rondé creamsicle, which I value very highly. I think the Buccaneers should wear the creamsicle this year.
The whole year?
No. They should wear it once, like they always do, and I think that should be it. This is it. 50th year. Wear it one more time.
Be done with it.
And be done with it. I am starting to come around to the fact that when the Bucs put that thing on, it just doesn't go well.
You can't win in it.
You can still sell all the apparel all you want, and I'll
There's
buy it like a sucker.
Subconscious about it.
But I'm subconscious about it now. The Buccaneers they are a red and pewter team.
Who did we play? Was that the Broncos game?
It was the Falcons game, right?
Falcons game. Was it Falcons?
It was the Falcons.
Okay. All I know is we played like crap.
All I know is they just don't win in that thing.
Oh.
So I'm asking for the 50th season. You want to wear it for the 50th season, your one game, but after this, let's put it to bed.
Did you see the little Rondé trailer they put out last night?
Mm-mm.
Oh, you didn't?
No.
No, download it. We should play it. It's on Twitter.
It's also the 4-year anniversary of the greatest boat parade in the
Yes.
history of boat parades.
Yes.
So for all the stuff we were talking about, Tom,
Avocado tequila.
let's come back again. Thank you, Tom. Thank you, Tom.
We'll always love him for that. That's about it.
Yeah, we loved him for a season of our life.
Yeah, the second season was good too.
Yeah, the third we don't need to talk about.
Yeah, the second season could have been a Super Bowl too. That team could have won it.
I know you were talking about today, like
another home loss.
You were telling me, you're telling everybody on the show today in the first segment, like what could have been with the Bucs this year. 2021 is the one I'll always think about. What could have been.
Yeah, that team was good.
Yeah, if Chris Godwin doesn't get his knees taken out by New Orleans and Antonio Brown,
C.J. Gardner-Johnson,
Antonio Brown doesn't have a meltdown on MetLife Stadium. I don't know what happened. I mean,
self-destruct. Yeah, and that was the Cooper Cup game, right?
That was the
Matt Gay Cooper Cup game.
Yeah, where the Bucs did all that work
Zero
to get
blitz.
all the way back, and then
We're gonna let Cooper Cup. Would they get the ball back with like 35 seconds left?
Yeah,
Brady was awesome in that game. That comeback was freaking unbelievable. I'm gonna go watch that game. I'm gonna go.
I watched a condensed version of it a couple weeks ago.
I have tasked myself with going back and watching every game from this past season before my NFL.com subscription.
You're gonna watch the defense too.
I'm gonna watch every game. We're gonna just because we need content. We're gonna recap. At least I am gonna recap every game. We'll like do maybe 2 a week, and go back and watch them. And I really believe my feeling is going to be confirmed that this team should have been so much better. And they should have gone so much further. I really believe, just based on
the very least, we should have won a playoff game.
Oh my God. Come on. Yeah. And by the way, this 50-year celebration is going to be super, super special. And that little piece that you saw from Rondé is just a piece of things that they're working on.
Yeah.
I can't say too much, but they're going to chronicle the season in the history in a great way.
I wonder who
the Glazers are sparing no expense to do this.
And I wonder what we're doing, because this year they didn't do Ring of Honor, right?
No.
So I'm assuming that for the 50th year, of course, it would return.
Yes.
I'd like to see multiple members go in.
Well, I think what they're gonna do is obviously they're gonna have a 50-year all-time team.
Yeah. Who's the coach?
Who's the quarterback?
I mean, come on. Come on.
Brad Johnson.
I love Brad, but I mean, come on.
Yeah.
I love Brad. I mean, we love Brad, but I mean, come on.
Just like, yeah. Our all-time quarterback is going to be a guy we rented for 2.5 years. I don't know that.
Who's your all-time tight end, Jimmy Giles or Rob?
Giles. See, that's where the rub is.
That one's a little different.
We're going to, you know what? We're going 12 personnel.
Yeah.
No doubt. We're going 12 personnel in the 50th. No question. Yeah, because we don't have enough receivers to talk about.
Yeah, because I was just thinking, like, because I mean, to the Ring of Honor thing, like, I'd like to see him put multiple guys in, because I think there's multiple guys that should be going in.
Yeah,
like
Gruden's probably going to go back up.
Gruden will probably go back in. We'll see if they do another ceremony or they just sort of quietly put him back in.
No, it'll just be up on the stadium.
I'd love to see, because he's coming back again this year, and this is awesome. It's Gene Deckerhoff.
Yeah, Nathan said Big Brad Johnson will be going.
That's
2025 Buccaneer fan cruise. Yeah. Yeezy says Baker's my quarterback. I tell you what, Baker's gonna have a run here. Baker's gonna, like, I was thinking about this morning.
He's gonna set the number. He's gonna have the numbers.
Oh my God, yeah. He's gonna have a run here. Because like we said, their window is now open. They have reopened the window with this team. Baker's what, 29? 28?
28, 29.
He's 29 next year. So he's got a good 5 years left in him.
29. He's going to be 30 actually when the season begins.
Yeah, so he's got a good 5 years left in him, I believe.
Well, I looked at the number. I brought up the numbers here, all-time passers for Bucs. Baker's 9th right now in passing yards.
2 seasons.
And next year, if he stays healthy, he's going to pass Steve DeBerg, Brad Johnson, and Doug Williams and Trent Dilfer, and he might make a run at Josh Freeman. So he could actually end up being 4th on the list behind Brady, Testaverde, and Winston. And then he would only need a year or two to get to number one.
He's going to own every Buccaneers record, because he's not going anywhere.
Touchdowns.
He's got his house. He's got his baby. He's got his offensive line.
He's got 69 touchdowns right now throwing. Jameis is the leader with 121. So he could get that realistically in 2 seasons. he puts 2 seasons like he just did.
Hmm.
So yeah, you're not wrong. By the end of this current contract he's on, he could be the Bucs leader in yards, touchdowns, all that stuff.
He will be. So he's going to have a long run here. And let's hope there's a Super Bowl involved. Because if he wins a Super Bowl and he stays here for, he has 7, 8 years here, he will surpass Brady.
Man, I never looked at the Bucs like all-time passing leading stats, and I'm
so bad.
Like trivia, who's the Bucs? Who has the most wins for a starting quarterback in Bucs history?
Who has the most wins? Wow. It can't be Vinny.
No.
It might.
Vinny has the most losses.
Yeah. It might be. Is it Trent?
It is.
It's Trent. Yeah.
38 and 38.
30. He was 38. 38 wins is the most for any Buccaneer quarterback.
Yep. Got it.
How many does Baker have now? He has
19.
19. Oh my God.
This is ugly to look at.
That has got to be the lowest number by far of any franchise. Holy crap.
This is not pretty to look at right now. And the interception column is pretty large too for a lot of quarterbacks. Whoa.
Who's the leader in it? It's got to be Jameis.
It's Vinny Testaverde.
Vinny? Yeah, because he played longer.
112 interceptions in 5 seasons.
How many did Jameis have?
88.
Holy shizbang. That's a lot. Wow.
I'm going to close this. I'm getting hurt looking at it, actually.
Bucks Basement is back. He says on his last one, he says, I'm glad that Cohen was exposed for the snake he is, and Jacksonville's still poverty in the AFC, but this team is going nowhere with a defensive-minded head coach. It's just a fact of the matter. I'm not disagreeing with you there, partner. Bucks Basement all said it's a damn shame that this is the season where people are saying it's Bowles. Either does it or he's gone. He should have been gone seasons ago. He's just not a good head coach. Sorry. Kind of agreeing with you. Bruce Gradkowski and Lehman Bennett. By the way, congrats to Bruce.
Congrats.
Friend of the show. Now is a Lions offensive assistant.
He was calling plays for Anthony, right?
Yeah, for Anthony.
St. Louis.
Battlehawks, yeah. Yeah. When's Anthony Beck getting a job?
He interviewed for West Virginia.
Yeah. Nathan says, I have my dog tags for the Bucks cruise ready to go.
Well, Lonnie said, shout out to the Rays for not saying anything about Wade Boggs.
Oh, wow. That's right. They're so bad.
Well, I'm here. All
right. Well, let's take a break and dive into some Rays talk, shall we? Yeah, this should be fun. All right, we'll take a quick break. When we come back, we'll talk some Rays baseball and some of the other things that are going on around the sports world and maybe the world in general. Some interesting news out there that Nick will not want me to talk about, so you know where we're going there. Italiano Insurance is the greatest customer service, folks, you will ever see. Give me my single shot now. Do you know how to do that? They will do. Whatever you need to get your insurance.
Make this Valentine's Day a real hit by coming to Alessi Promotions Gloves and Roses, a night of professional boxing. We'll have something special for all the ladies. February 14th at the Downtown Hilton, experience professional boxing. Citrus County's own Drake Banks, a 7-0 heavyweight with 5 knockouts. And featuring our main event, an NBA title fight featuring undefeated Stephen Ray Jr. Get your tickets online at AlessiPromotions.com or scan the QR code and go directly to eTix.
Hurricane Helene put a hurting on Tampa Bay, and for many of you, the rebuild will be a long process. You must beware of unscrupulous contractors offering up quick fixes for incredible prices. It's a scam. So go with long-standing, reputable companies like Third Generation Plumbing
and AC. My friend John Rodriguez has been serving Tampa Bay since 1995 with hundreds of 5-star reviews. If you need a new AC system or any home repairs from Helene, they will work with insurance companies to get you taken care of quickly, expertly installed, of course, and a 1-year maintenance plan and 10-year warranty included on all AC units. 0% financing for 60 months. Contact them at thirdgenerationplumbing.com or 813-961-8024. That's 813-961-8024, thirdgenerationplumbing.com. So many of our Tampa Bay neighbors are finding out the hard way from Hurricane Helene that homeowners insurance does not cover flood damage. You must have flood insurance. It's a separate policy. Immediately call Italiano Insurance at 813-877-7799, and they will shop around to find the best policy before rates go up. Lock it in. Over 60% are underinsured in Florida, or you're not getting your discounts that you're entitled to. So do an insurance checkup at Italiano, and they could save you thousands of dollars. Italiano will make sure you're with a highly rated insurer, so there are no surprises in your time of need. Our hearts go out to all our neighbors devastated by Helene. These are the times we're proud to protect all the pieces of your life. Italiano Insurance, 813-877-7799.
Ciao, Paolo Tini here, owner of Caffè Paradiso, voted number 3 People's Choice Award on Open Table. I want to thank all our loyal family of customers that have been enjoying our great traditional Italian dishes we make from scratch every day. It's a great family story we're proud of. Our family moved from Rimini, Italy in 1984. My dad, Caesar, started Donatello, and that's where I got the start in the restaurant business. I started Caffè Paradiso on South McDill in 1995, and we've been there ever since. From our traditional ossobuco, a veal slow roast for 4 hours, to our daily fresh catch, the Gruppo Paradiso, with a piccata sauce and lobster claw meat, homemade pasta like lasagna, farfalle salchicha, which is a bow tie pasta homemade with fresh sausage. Hold on a minute, JP's favorite.
I love it.
So come and have a glass of wine with me on South McDill. Get a reservation on Open Table and see all our 5-star reviews. Ciao, see you soon at Paradiso.
Let's go.
Right now, back to the show on FanStream Sports.
Over. It's never over, folks. Not in Tampa Bay. We got a big off season coming. We're gonna go back and review the entire season too. Which will be fun. And by the way, do you guys have content ideas? I'd love to hear them in the chat. We're going to go back and look at each and every game, kind of recap them in different ways. What would you like to see us do in that realm in terms of numbers, recaps, any of that stuff? Also, Josh Capo, who was on with us last week from the Pewter Report? He's going to join us twice a month leading up to the draft and free agency and all that. He does such a great job with Pewter Report, and he came on. We got a great response from him. So, and Scott Reynolds will be joining us, and I will be joining in on Pewter Report as well. So I'm going to be part of their operation as well. So as we cross pollinate, and we love working with those guys. Really, really good stuff. But we do something that these other Bucs sites don't do, and that's talk about the Rays and the Lightning. We talk about all Tampa Bay sports here. So we are the only 2-hour podcast to do so in the local area. So we take it seriously, and we want to make sure that we're giving you the best information, the non-corporate version of said information. And we're going to talk about the Rays in that vein right now. And you know what we're not going to talk about right now? The stadium.
Oh, thank goodness.
Because we've done a lot of that recently.
And it's the status quo,
It is what it is. I will say one thing. About the new ownership groups that are preparing their bids. And of course, Stu said last week, if the Rays were for sale, you would know it. We do know it. And him and Liam Cohen playing the honesty card is actually one of the greatest things ever. So I'm getting closer to a lot of the names that are associated with this new ownership group. I obviously not want to talk about them until we nail them down, until they give us permission to say who they are and what's going on. I don't know why they won't let us do that. Maybe it's something to do with Major League Baseball, but it's pretty clear to me that the St. Pete deal ain't happening, and there's going to hopefully be a change of ownership here pretty soon. Because as soon as Stu came on and told the Times that they weren't for sale and it wasn't happening anytime soon, I was like, awesome, because that means it is and it will.
Well, you have a homework assignment from Easy in the chat here. Valentine's Day is a few days away. 5 nice things about Mr. Stuart Sternberg.
I could do that.
That's due
That's
on
not
what,
hard.
Thursday for you?
That's
Friday?
not hard.
It's
That's
due
not
Friday
hard.
for you.
I give the man his due for hiring some really smart people to win on a budget. Yeah. He's the cheapest mofo in the history of baseball to win as many games as they have. He wins more per dollar spent and per dollar tucked in his pockets than any owner in baseball history. Is that good? Is that nice?
Yeah. I would add that the Trop, I think he's pumped a lot of resources into making the Trop as looking nice as you possibly can.
Absolutely. Yeah. He has put more lipstick on that pig than any pig in history. I agree. 100%. Well done.
And I don't know if he plays a role in the hiring of broadcasting or anything like that. But I feel like the Rays have such great broadcasters and radio people.
Do you see Trisha last week? Kind of,
I did.
The backhanded slap at Stu.
I did. Yeah.
Yeah. It wasn't even backhanded. It was kind of forehanded.
Although we lost Trisha this year, right?
No, there's a reason for that. And it might have something to do with ownership.
I mean, to be fair, I mean Trisha is a gem. We all know that.
She's awesome.
And the fact that she was with us for this long is honestly crazy, because
she will be missed,
because she can literally be in like the top tier. Like, no offense to the Rays,
she's on her way. She's on her way. Yeah, she's really good. But I appreciate her honesty the other day. I thought it was really, really good, and I think he gives you a kind of a clarity for somebody who's been was in the organization for 6 years,
right?
And of course Doug Wechter and Rich and BA and Dwayne, they do such an amazing job. They're really, really good. They're so good. I mean, like top, because we have to watch a lot of Rays baseball, and they keep it really fresh. They keep it really funny. Even with like last year's team was probably the least entertaining Rays team I think I've ever seen.
Right.
So boring, so bad to watch, and they made it fun.
Yeah, and I love the addition. The 2 local guys, Matt Joyce and Denard Span, who get to add their insights to it as well. It's like it's a well-rounded roster they have there. So I don't know. Again, I don't know if he has anything to do with those things at all. But
can we put these up?
Which
from
ones?
Thomas? Anybody seen Brian Ault since his truth statement? What specifically you're talking about, Thomas? You mean Stu's truth statement?
The one that Brian Ault is having to be the face for?
I feel sorry. I've said this a lot with Matt and Brian having to do the dirty work for Stu.
I do. Yeah, I absolutely do.
I think both of those guys have Tampa Bay's best interest at heart, and they've had to do all the dirty work. Of course, they get paid handsomely to do it.
That's true, but I hate to see when people like go after them specifically, because it's not them. It is not them.
You're right. It's not. I don't think I think both of those folks have Tampa Bay's best interest in heart. But as Chris Loeffel has said, not Stu. I don't trust Stu. Nobody does at this point, and that's why there's problems. Berlani says, working in baseball and watching a lot of it, the Rays broadcasts are among my favorites. I agree. Cubs are great too. Is Stu's JP's Valentine? JP definitely getting screwed. Lonnie says, just another time Trisha made me say, God damn. Yeah. Did I get to 5 things? 5, and for Stu,
you got like
he bought me coffee in Havana. He bought me a Cuban coffee.
You got to 3. You could,
and he paid my way to Havana, which was one of the great moments of my broadcasting career.
You could stew on it for a little bit and come up with 2 throughout the week.
We'll see if I can get there. Any other comments we want to get to? Nick can kick JP under the desk when he gets political.
When you're done playing.
Oh my God, so funny. So what else were we going to talk about? The Rays on the field. So I would have liked them to see it at a big bat, but Jimenez might be an interesting piece. They got to get something from Morrell this year. They've got to get something from Morrell this year. I hope he found something in the offseason besides swing and miss. He's got power. He's athletic. He can be something, but however, whatever the Rays can do to unlock that and get him to be more consistent, like that would be incredible. If they could, Randy Arozarena him some way, because Randy was kind of a iffy guy before he got here. Once given the stage and everything, he really blossomed. Yeah. I don't know if Morrell has that in him, but sure would be nice.
The Rays in general, in their lineup at least, like I told you, once they added Ha-Seong Kim to it and I started looking at it, I said, you know what? I like the construction of this. I feel like you brought
as a leadoff hitter.
I meant like the lineup in general.
Yeah.
Like I feel like you raised the floor up. Okay. That's what I would probably.
Yeah, because Yandy's not a prototypical leadoff hitter. He clogs up the bases. This guy steals bases.
Yeah.
He runs.
So like when you like, for instance, if you just go through the names, Danny Jansen, massive upgrade to whatever you were trotting out there yesterday. And then of course Brett's there too.
Yes. But again, not an offensive force.
Way better than what you have.
But that were way better than 130. I mean, you're still not getting, a power hitter. He can get to 11 home runs, but he's not. But he's not a 20-30 guy.
No. But he's a significant upgrade there. You still have Yandy. B-Lau, we know when we already know when he's healthy.
And that short porch.
And right.
Woo!
I think B-Lau could explode, actually.
If he could just stay healthy.
But you're playing on real grass.
That's right.
So, just saying.
Yeah.
Junior Caminero. We think could be a superstar.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. But remember when we were counting on Josh Lowe? He had that little, cameo, and then we counted on him like he's going to be really good.
Well, you brought up Josh Lowe, and it's like Josh Lowe. Like I don't think last year I think he got off the wheels early with the injury. I think he never recovered. It just never got into the flow of the season.
Yeah, and that was a hand injury.
Yeah,
right?
I think he's much better than that.
Those things
he's much better than that. I already mentioned Ha-Seong Kim. When you get him in May, we're gonna have to endure Taylor Walsh.
He's an average hitter. Ha-Seong Kim.
Yeah,
but he's obviously a Gold Glove shortstop.
He does everything else well.
But he's a prototypical leadoff hitter. And I think he even had 18 home runs in this.
Yeah, at his best, at his peak, 2023, he was around there. So then we already mentioned Lowe. Morrell has 30 home run power. I wish they could cut down a little bit on the strikeout.
250 strikeout.
Yeah, and I don't know what position he necessarily is supposed to play. To me, the biggest question mark is what's going on in center field, because at the moment it looks like they're all in on Johnny DeLuca. And I mean,
awful.
I don't know.
Awful.
I don't know.
They need to make a move there. Get somebody.
But I feel like in general, though, if you go like through all those positions, it feels like they've raised the floor when it comes to talent, and you still have, Aranda's going to be around and guys like that. Like you don't have as many weak links, is what I'm saying.
Absolutely.
But provided you need health, and that's something that the Rays just did not have really last year. We know the Rays are going to pitch with the best of anybody in the league. We don't have any concerns there. I mean, McClanahan, he's coming back from Tommy John, yes. So which change do you get? Wait and see.
Yeah.
Rasmussen now gets a full off season where he's healthy. Taj, I mean, he kind of has been hot and cold.
Yeah.
He finally
he's got such good
stuff though.
If he can just, it's just
it's all
mature. He just needs to mature.
Yeah, but I'll just say it right now. The Rays are going to be top 5 in pitching in baseball. It's just where is that lineup going to settle in at?
Yeah.
And I don't think even at their worst, they're capable of being 28th, 29th like they were last year. I think when you go through the names, I think they're way too much better than that. But if you just gave me just give me the 15th best offense.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, obviously I want better,
yes,
but just give me the 15th best offense with this pitching.
How about Tampa selling out that stadium?
Oh, beautiful.
How about that? All the ticket packages are gone. You raise prices about 150%. And by the way, as we did the math on this, or my friend Christopher Palermo, who's a lot smarter than me, did the math on this. They're not going to be losing a lot of revenue in ticket revenue, and because their average was what 16,000, so they're going to have 12,000 seats, and the price is up 150%. So he's getting 50% more per ticket, 150% per ticket, which gives you basically the same amount of revenue. from tickets, and you're selling premiums for more than you've ever sold them
They'll be
before.
fine.
So they've don't that this whole false narrative once again that other media outlets want to promulgate that they're going to be losing all this revenue because they're playing in a minor league stadium. It's a better stadium than Tropicana Field, in my opinion, except maybe in July and August.
Last thing I wanted to mention before we get out of here. I don't know if you saw this, because there's a lot going on this weekend.
You mean Josh Shapiro, the governor of Pennsylvania, being part of the assassination attempt on Donald Trump?
What did Rick want me to do? Hold on. What did he say?
In collusion with Christopher Wray at the FBI.
I'm trying to kick
you. Mean that
right.
story?
I'm trying to kick you right now. That's not. I think
you mean that story?
I think you confuse shows.
Oh, sorry.
But no, far away from that. On Saturday night, I actually tuned into a college basketball game, which I don't find time to do much of that.
I can't watch it.
And I watched it because Dickie V was back.
Yes.
His first game.
Welcome back, Dickie V.
In over 2 years, got a standing ovation from Clemson. It was Clemson Duke.
Yes.
And I actually stuck around and watched the game, and Clemson pulled off a big upset.
Oh, wow.
Of Duke, who had won 16 games in a row.
God, I want to get back into college basketball. I really do. But it's so hard to follow.
It is.
FSU sucks.
Yeah, and happy trails, Leonard Hamilton.
Thank you for your service.
But it was time.
Past time?
Very
well past time?
Well past time.
Well past time?
Yeah. And then I also was watching a little golf this week, and Thomas Detry holds them off.
Have you seen all the little clips from the Waste Management, just like on Twitter, of drunk people?
Oh, I mean,
fights,
Emmanuel Grillo's
jumping in water.
Emmanuel Grillo's hole-in-one on Friday was electric.
The size of that stadium there is just insane. I got to go at least 1 year. That's on my bucket list.
Yeah.
But then again, I don't want to go into let's go in the huge drunk crowd world. Do I really want to do that? Just to watch, just to people watch.
It's just people watching.
Yeah. But I'm going to need a luxury box.
Yeah. Of course you do. High roller over here.
That can't be with the GP.
You'll have a more pleasant viewing experience if you're just in the Valspar, because we're getting closer to the
I know. I
Valspar
can't wait.
I'm sure the field's going to start coming out here soon.
It already is. Yeah. We got to get on that this week now that the football season is over. But been speaking with Rick Godioso, the PR man over there at Valspar. So, yeah, we're going to get those folks on the show soon. Yeah, the field is already looking fantastic. It's going to be another great event. Rondé Barber, of course, still the chairman, as it should be. So good stuff. All right. Okay, that'll do it for us. By the way, big thanks to MOR TV. Saturday night, I hosted the night parade with Laura Baker. You can go see that. If you've never seen the night parade, it was perfect weather, 70 degrees, a beautiful night parade. It's like a 2-hour parade too. So it goes, and the costumes and everything, the floats are just amazing. If you've never seen it and you don't want to go out into the drunk crowds, you can watch it on mor-tv.com. You can watch the live stream. It's all there for you. So it's really, really cool. So thanks for MOR TV for having me for that again. All right. Thank you guys for watching and contributing. We appreciate you. Great job, Nick Geddes. We will be back tomorrow with more fun and frivolity. Don't forget, AlessiPromotions.com, Gloves and Roses. If you're looking for something to do with your honey or just the guys on Valentine's Day, go to a boxing match. What a great idea. And they've got a great card lined up. Heavyweight Drake Banks is from Homosassa Springs. Really entertaining fighter. Got a great undercard as well. So check it out at AlessiPromotions.com, Gloves and Roses. We'll see you tomorrow. Have a great day, everybody.